Take it slow, watch the smoke we blow. Bring California swing and this thing for show. Well, hey there, baby, don't dance the go-go. Off a little mentally, I see it in slow-mo. Hollywood, the east side, Hub City, and Frisco. Guys at the flyers, fires up in the disco. Whoa, whoa, oh, now here we go.
Welcome to the Double I Show.
Here in Idiocy.
I'm Sweet Tea, and with me as always,
R.W.King.
Hey, King, what's going on tonight, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
Everything's good, man. Gonna be a good show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, Dr. X is on vacation this week. Who do we got here, bro?
Well, we got Uncle Rico. He's in the house, man.
What's going on, Uncle Rico? Thanks for hanging out, brother. Appreciate it.
Big shout out to Uncle Rico today. Thank you for coming in and helping.
Hope he doesn't make Dr. X look too bad, bro.
Oh, come on, man. Don't do me like that.
Well, no, I mean, really, that's the reality, right?
It is.
If he makes him look bad, then fuck, what's he going to do when he gets back?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going to be all butthurt. You're going to have to fucking hold him like a little baby.
I don't want to hear about hard decisions right now.
You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, right?
It is. So let's get into this, man.
Well, yeah, first of all, man, why don't you say thanks to everybody again, man? We just want to say thank you to all these people, T.
Yeah, of course. You know, we want to thank all of our fans out there for listening to the show, for putting us on top of your playlist and just kind of working us into your routine. You know, we got a lot of shout outs from fans. You know, we actually got a lot of feedback about our holiday show. You know, we just had the 4th of July.
No, absolutely, yeah.
You know, our holiday show, the interview with, what's his name, Sparky.
No, Sparky did great, man.
Sparky did great.
The other thing, though, man, is that we left him fucking hanging and didn't even say nothing. He didn't realize it, but hey, it is what it is.
He was a good sport about it, though.
He never
really
even mentioned it.
Never complained, man.
So, hey, thanks again, Sparky, man. Appreciate you. We were thinking about you the other day.
Yeah. Didn't you say that you sent me something saying that the Mets caught their
well, yeah, I got that.
The neighborhood and behind their field on fire?
Well, is it the neighborhood behind their field, or it's where they set up to do their fireworks show,
Which is right by the field. So it's in the neighborhood behind it, they said.
Did you see the picture?
Yeah, dude, that was
It didn't
nuts,
look like
man.
it was just fireworks on fire.
No,
Maybe like a building or something.
Inferno.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck, I got to send you this picture, man.
I know, and I immediately thought of Sparky, because you know how
so did I.
That's
what I said. That's what I told you. Fuck, call Sparky, bro.
So that's crazy, though. Did you have a good 4th?
Yeah, man, it wasn't bad. You know, hey, just a little something, though, man. We had a little bit of an earthquake out here on the 4th of July, huh?
Oh, man. Well, hey, happy birthday, America.
Exactly. You know, I mean, fuck. You know, but, I mean, the reality is, T, and we're going to get into this subject a little bit later, but, I mean, I think people sort of don't really remember or realize what a big magnitude earthquake can do.
Oh, it can devastate. It really can.
You know, and the reality was this wasn't close. It was out in the rural areas where the epicenter was.
Yeah,
so
it was in the middle of nowhere for the most part.
It really didn't do much damage as it could have, and people are still talking about it today like if it was just like amazing that they were a part of an earthquake.
Well, because we really haven't had a large one.
In maybe like 20 years.
This is the largest in 20 years that we've had. And, I mean, so we're going to talk about earthquakes. Let's just get into this, man, because... You know, we remember the Northridge earthquake. Do you remember that one?
Well, absolutely. And that I was actually going to start, you know, not going too far back, but I think something that me and you can remember and talk about too is the Whittier earthquake.
Right.
Was the San Gabriel Valley earthquake, and that was a big one too.
But the Northridge was actually more recent than that.
Right. But remember too, my point is we want to sort of give a history of what happens here. And the problem is that when these epicenters and these things are triggered in the middle of a city or a popular area, the devastation is much greater.
Big time.
So in 1987, it was only a 5.9 earthquake, but it knocked down almost all of Uptown Whittier.
Yeah, Uptown Whittier was almost destroyed.
Well, because it was brick buildings, and they weren't seismic buildings, so of course they just fell. Now think of this, too, T, that 1987 5.9 only rumbled for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was
19.6 seconds.
It was short, but it felt like forever.
But think of the devastation it did.
It did.
Now, the one yesterday was a little bit different, and they talk about these plates shift, and either it's a rolling earthquake or an up and down earthquake.
Right.
So,
it's a slip fault.
Correct.
Yeah. And getting to going back to your point about the Whittier earthquake, I remember driving through there because, of course, our sister lived in Whittier.
So I lived uptown too.
Yeah, that's right. You were there too in Uptown. Yeah. And so we were driving through there. I remember driving through there, and a lot of the homes, especially in California, they're older homes in Whittier, and they had basements, and the entire house collapsed inside the basement. And I remember seeing a house that's almost completely leveled, but just seeing the roof popping out of the top of the ground because it just completely sunk in through the basement.
Right. And there were a couple homes, and remember too how Whittier is it's sort of set up where it's sort of like on a hilly area.
Yeah.
So all that ground is sort of uneven and doesn't really work well. So knowing that, it's sort of weird how everything, like you said, sort of fell into the earth.
Yeah. It was crazy.
It was. And I remember when I was at work and, I mean, like I said, like you said, it just seemed like it lasted forever.
Yeah.
And I was actually young, really young then. Back in the day, I was young, probably 21 years old when that thing hit. And I worked for a paper company.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everything on the shelves on these big racks was just falling down like Indiana Jones.
You're like diving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember just running towards the dock and just jumping off as fast as I could, and I hit the ground hard. I ate shit.
Now, how long did it take before you realized it was an actual earthquake?
2 or 3 seconds, because I was up on a man lift. I was up on a lift like a cherry picker.
Yeah.
And basically, wherever you're driving this machine, you go up to these racks to pull orders on these racks that go as high as the roof, and you go as high as the pallet.
Right.
And you're driving from up there sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was way up on top putting up mailing tubes.
So you felt it, and you were kind of swaying all over the place right away.
The other problem with that is that these things are electrical, and that thing sort of cut out because of the motion. So I couldn't even go down.
You had to jump down or what?
I had to climb down. I climbed down that motherfucker.
How the hell did you get your harness off that quick?
It's just one clip. It's one clip.
But I mean, you have to have a good presence of mind to be able to do all that in that motion and get out of there.
Remember, I wear the harness all day, so every time I have to move off the pallet, I have to take that harness off. So it's one clip. You know, it's a belt. It wasn't a harness. It was a belt.
It was a belt back in the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just unclipped it and went down. Basically, probably took a header going down.
Yeah.
But everything was falling out of the racks.
Yeah.
I thought the racks were going to fall.
Yeah, no, I was still in school, because I was young enough. I mean, I was still in school. But that was the first earthquake I've actually remember going through.
Well, I remember when I was young, a couple of them, but it was sort of fun, the bed moving and shit. You just don't realize what's going on and the magnitude of what happens when you're younger. But I think at that point, it was sort of at a point where, and I'm not sure about your age, but it hit you a bit more because it affected you more.
Yeah.
Your work shut down, everything else, what I mean? You're a member of society. How are you going to deal with it? There were people sleeping out in their front yards.
Yeah, they were afraid to go inside.
They were afraid to go inside because of all the aftershocks.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember all the aftershocks?
I remember all my neighbors all lived out. I mean, they lived outside. They camped. They had tents. It was a tent city.
Because they didn't know which one of these buildings was going to fall next.
Right. They didn't understand exactly.
And then we talk about it. So the one on yesterday was, how big was it? 6.4?
It was a 6.4.
Now, the Whittier quake was only a 5.9.
Correct. Now, the Northridge was a 6.7. So
was it that big?
Yeah, it was only a little bit bigger than the one that just happened. So, but think about it, kind of to your point when you said, in a rural area versus a more heavily populated area. The Northridge earthquake, when that happened, I mean, whole entire bridges and freeway systems were completely destroyed. I don't know if you remember that.
No, absolutely. But here's the thing, right? Is I always think this. And growing up in California, when the big one hits, and they talk about the big one all the time, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Because I had a good friend of mine who was a geologist. We called him the Rock Doc. But this guy used to say back in the day, guys, it's just a matter of time. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
Whether it be 200 years, 300 years, 500 years.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's just going to happen again.
Right. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to
The other
stop
part of it is that we're manipulating the earth so much by moving it and putting weight on it, that we're shifting these tectonic plates. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
And we're shifting those, and we're making them move faster than they should.
Well, especially we're part of the Ring of Fire.
Right.
Because we have the most plate tectonic movements along with like certain areas of like Asia and everything. We have this zone.
So my thought was always the time that this thing hits is going to dictate how many people die. Because I always thought, okay, if it hits in the middle of downtown LA,
yeah,
and the epicenter's close to that, and the destruction's going to be there.
Oh yeah, the destruction's going to be huge.
Right, exactly. Well, any major city, think about it, T. Not even just downtown.
Frisco, anything.
No. I'm not even saying that. I'm thinking in our suburbs. So thinking even just again in Whittier, thinking again in Montebello, thinking all these businesses and things that are going on there.
Right.
Right. There's so much population here in Los Angeles. It's one of probably the most heaviest populated places in the country.
True.
And depending on the time of day, is going to dictate the amount of casualties. But then I started looking back at that Northridge quake. There was 60 people died.
Yeah.
And that fucker happened at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So people really weren't even up. They weren't doing anything.
There was very few people on the road.
A lot of people died in their apartments because the apartments fell.
Correct.
You know, there was more than 9,000 people injured in the Northridge quake and 20,000 people displaced of their home.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's nuts.
And that was only a little bit larger than the one we just experienced the other day.
But because of where it was centered,
correct,
that's what causes the issues.
Correct.
And that's sort of the point that I'm getting at a little bit, right? Is that the people don't realize what they felt yesterday was nothing.
Yeah.
Was nothing.
No, I hardly felt it.
Exactly.
I think I remember
reached
out to you and I asked you.
Yeah, when I called you, I asked you, hey, man, did you feel that? Oh, I felt something at the store, but fuck, I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I was out shopping.
I thought there was something in one of my other rooms because I heard my shelving hit the wall.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, there's something in my laundry room.
Yeah, like something like an animal or something got in there, right?
I had a possum go in there a fucking couple months ago. My dog went crazy for the fucker.
So you thought he came back?
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I have my screen door's a little fucked up, and those guys can get through there. You know what I mean? But it was
even if it's not fucked up, they can get through.
Yeah, but I was thinking, fuck, man, it's a little early in the day. They usually come out at night.
Yeah.
So what's that noise? And I got up like, fuck, I can hear it. And then I stood in the doorway and it stopped. And I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
You know, and then that's when I was talking. Actually, I heard the neighbors talking. And I went out like, what the fuck's going on? And I went out there and I was like, did you feel that? Did you feel that? No. What the fuck happened? So then I looked and I went back in my place, changed the news, and there was an earthquake.
You know, the funny thing, I was at the store, right? And I was hanging out at a hardware store, right? So I was at a hardware store because they had a bunch of killer sales. And I'm standing there and I could see all the packaging on the rack that I'm looking at start to move. And I thought maybe somebody on the other side of the rack was restocking or something. And then they started getting a little bit more. And I'm like, man, that guy's restocking kind of aggressive. He's shaking the whole damn thing. And then I take a look and I look around and everything. I can see all the blister packs and all this stuff just starting to move and sway. And then I kind of paused and tried to stay as still as I can. And then I could feel the ground moving. And I was like, oh, okay, we just had an earthquake. But it didn't feel like it was that bad. It didn't feel that strong. And then when I heard 6.4, I was kind of amazed. But to your point, you know, the fact that it was more in a rural area, that really made the world a difference.
It's not just that, but I think my point too, T, was how everyone's talking about it today. Everyone's talking about this like this was a big earthquake.
Well, it was a big earthquake.
Not here.
No, but in size, in magnitude, it actually was, though.
But T, it was 200 miles from us.
Correct.
But people here are still talking like if it was a big one. That's my point.
Now,
they haven't felt that.
Well, not in a very long time. Now here, and some people ever because they're new to California or you got kids that weren't around.
Right. Like, so if you're 25 years old, you haven't felt that.
You don't remember it.
Right. Exactly. That's my point.
Here's one of our listeners is on vacation in Bullhead, Arizona, right? And he hit us up. I don't know if you saw that, but he hit us up and asked us if we felt that earthquake. He felt it all the way in Bullhead. I couldn't believe it. You remember that? You remember the listener D-Day?
Yeah.
Okay, so he hit us up. He's on vacation right now for the 4th with his family over there in Bullhead, and he felt it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that dude would feel anything.
Well, okay, now let me tell you what his quote was. He said he didn't know it was an earthquake. He thought he was about to pass out because he was so drunk.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
He's usually more drunk half the time. He stand up, he's all wobbly anyway.
That's what he thought was going on until he realized, no, I'm okay right now. What the hell was that?
It couldn't have been even that strong over there. I mean, it's a big quake. Don't get me wrong. But again, T, I mean, you felt the other ones just like me. Even that Northridge quake, those things don't roll. It sounds like a train hits the side of your house.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a big crash.
Now, this one did cause some damage in the areas that are kind of closer to it.
Of course. It's a huge earthquake.
Yes.
But my point is in magnitude, and even like we talked about with the one in Northridge or Whittier, it didn't cause even close to that kind of damage. Probably monetarily, it probably went up because those were so long ago.
Right.
And property values are higher. And everything costs more now. But it's sort of skewed that way. But if you think about it in magnitude as far as what damage there was or who got hurt, I haven't even heard anybody got hurt yet.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard it?
No, I haven't.
Right, and that's usually the first thing that comes out.
Yeah.
60 people died in Northridge, bro.
I did
8 people died in Whittier.
But I did hear that, some people, and I did see it too on the news, that they live in like the trailer parks, right? And, those trailer parks, even though they're mobile homes, they're on like a foundation in a way, right?
Well, they're on stilts.
Yeah. And I saw them. They fell off their stilts.
Oh, it's easy to. Actually, reality is you could probably push them off their stilts.
Possibly, yeah, if you really push hard enough.
Yeah. If you have enough pressure behind it. So, an earthquake like that is definitely going to hurt those
It knocked them
homes.
off, and people were kind of like, one lady got kind of messed up, but, I mean, she didn't die. She lived to tell the story. But, yeah, I mean, I understand your point, and which is very valid. It's very valid. But for guys like you and I that have been around, that know what the earthquakes feel like, I mean, this, even though for us where we were, it didn't feel that strong, but the fact that it was a 6.5, that's pretty relevant. That's pretty significant. Now, I will say one thing. The fault that it landed on was or is connected to the San Andreas fault, which is the main fault in California that we're waiting to slip that's going to be the big one.
You're right.
So that could have taken some pressure off of that possibly, which may be a good thing.
Let me throw this at you, just so you're aware. I want to say like 70% of all the faults touch the San Andreas.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That thing drives
more,
everything.
And probably more that we don't even know about.
That's what the geologist guy used to tell me.
Yeah.
Because they said there's only like 6 main faults in California, but there's so many little small fault lines that are relevant, because it's like we talked about the San Gabriel fault line.
Yeah.
Look at that earthquake.
Oh,
I mean, that's a 6.0, 5.9 something, and knocked down a whole city.
Yeah.
So these things are relevant, and you're right. It is the pressure on that San Andreas fault, but man, I'm just thinking.
I mean, who knows? This could have been like a safety valve. You ever see like a pressure cooker and you flip the little valve?
So think of this, T. Do you think it's better for people to be in the workplace or at home during these events?
Workplace, because most
Why?
of the time the workplace is a lot more secure than a home. Okay, because big buildings, especially in the city, larger buildings, they're retrofitted to handle earthquakes and big earthquakes.
Do they have I know they used to have a thing here that like the height of the building, they used to have to be earthquake proofed or something.
Yeah.
And now has it changed? I haven't
No,
kept up
it
with
hasn't changed. And as a matter of fact, they've gone back and they've retrofitted. They started passing all these aggressive laws that even though you may consider yourself a grandfathered in building, it doesn't matter. You have to retrofit to match the more modern day guidelines and everything, the safety standards. So a lot of these old brick buildings that are in LA had to be retrofitted for that. And any new buildings, of course, they're actually on rollers. So when an earthquake happens, the whole damn building is like a roller skate. It kind of rolls on its foundation. So
well,
it's
that all
cool.
started in Japan.
Right, it did. I mean, those guys...
Technology started over there because
Exactly.
those guys just live earthquake over there, but they're on a volcano kind of. It's sort of like Mexico City.
Yeah.
Hey guys, good job, build your capital city in a fucking volcano.
Right?
Yeah, fuck, all right, good job.
Now here's a weird fact is this just happened on the 4th of July, and since then they've had over 1,000 aftershocks on this earthquake that just happened.
Right, and people don't understand this, OT. There's probably about 400 to 500 2.0 or less earthquakes a day.
Oh yeah, especially in this area. Absolutely.
In California.
All the time. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, that's what this guy used
And
to
you
say
don't
all the
feel
time. Yeah, you don't even feel them. You don't realize it.
Now, I did hear just today that there was a 1 in 20 chance that this is going to be a precursor to a larger earthquake within the next 72 hours.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime there's a big quake like this, it could just be a temporary relief and it'd be a precursor to a big one.
Right.
And we've known that since we were kids because they always talk about that.
Yeah.
But the reality is I don't know. I've never heard a number like 1 in 20. I think it's much more than that. You know what I mean? But, I mean, even if it's 1 in 20 and we hit one in the next 72 hours, there could be another one tomorrow.
Yeah, you just
People
don't know.
think, oh, the big one's over.
Well, they've already had some really big aftershocks.
Yeah.
They had a 5.4, a 4.5. I mean, they've had some significant size aftershocks already.
Well, absolutely. Those plates just don't shift one time. They got to settle. And that's sort of what happens in these aftershocks. But it all depends, again, what we talked about is where that thing's centered.
Okay, I got a question for you. What was your geologist friend's name? What would you call him?
The Rock Doc, Eric.
The Rock Doc. Okay. Yeah. Now, how long ago was that?
Probably the last time we had a conversation like this, I'd say 8 or 10 years ago.
8 or 10 years ago? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And even then, what he was talking about didn't even include, and I'm going to throw you a curveball, of shit that goes down right now. and I'm going to say this, fracking. Because everybody knows that fracking is directly related and linked to causing earthquakes. Do you know what fracking is?
No.
So fracking is where they kind of go and they blast underground because they get gas out of the ground.
Oh, no.
And it's causing earthquakes in regions of the country that don't even have faults.
Well, this was a discussion a little bit we had in the pre-show, is that it's basically they're manipulating the earth in such ways.
Right.
You know, and it's with that. Remember, there's a lot of other stuff too. You know, they do sort of strip mining and other kinds of mining underground.
Yeah.
To get minerals out and things like that, and they're creating these big holes.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that they're close enough to these tectonic plates that are causing these shifts.
Yeah.
And he talked about that, and he also talked about the weight that's on the earth. You put buildings, you put people, you put all those things on there in a magnitude of tons and tons and tons. It shifts these plates. And because of our population growing and more homes and more buildings and all these things going, it's shifting these plates.
Makes perfect sense.
It's logical.
It really does. It's
really
very logical.
Is, you know, and he used to say that the more people that come here, the more we build, the more frequent we're going to have earthquakes because we're manipulating that earth.
Yeah.
And that really didn't make sense to me because we haven't had a big one in 20 years. So is this like a cycle where we don't have it for 20 years, then we have a couple in a year, a couple years in a row?
Maybe.
You know,
maybe
what I mean?
that's the new norm, you know, because we're doing so many things to this planet. It's kind of fucking up cycles that we're used to, the
Right.
norms that we're used to, just seasons, everything, man. So you don't know.
The other thing to me that I thought of yesterday, T, don't you think the rain had something to do with it?
No, not at all, dude. Come
I do.
on.
Softened up the earth, bro.
Oh, come on, man.
Shifted.
Don't even start with
Boom.
that shit. You know, it's
We
like,
haven't had no rain here. Okay, how do they
No.
say though? But okay, T, we've been in a drought in California for 5 or 6 years.
right.
We had a good rain this year, and then they come out and say there's no more drought. How the fuck does that work?
Because the ground is so saturated now, and it replenished a lot of the underground reservoirs that we had, the wells.
All right. So again, the earth is soaked. Doesn't have any effect on movement?
No.
You
No.
sure?
Stop with that. That's like those people that say, oh, you know, this is kind of earthquake weather. Because, you know, here in California, sometimes we'll have like an overcast, kind of gloomy day, and then the next day it's super hot.
Oh, I don't.
And then people.
I don't think the weather drives.
No,
the
I know that, but
earthquake,
people.
I'm thinking.
people
I'm just
make that
thinking
comment.
about. We just talked about weight on it. How much weight do you think there is in water?
Like, yeah, but what is it? 75% of the earth is covered in water. You know, so I doubt that really has any effect on it, because a lot of these happen underwater too, in the middle of the ocean. So I doubt that any of that has anything to do with it. So I got a question for you there, King.
Mm-hmm.
Are you prepared?
Well, let me go back because I just thank you, Uncle Rico. That was pretty good. He just shot this to me over here on my screen, bro. It says heavy rain can trigger earthquakes. It was already known that rainfall could cause tremors, but the amount of water needed is much more than previously thought, says Steve Miller, a geologist at the University of Bonn, Germany. So heavy rain. I'm just saying. Thanks, Uncle Rico. But yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's a matter of the earth and what it can do. But back to your question, am I prepared? Fuck no. I don't think anybody is.
There's very few, I think, that are. I know I'm not.
I'm not.
And I got a family, and I know I'm not.
Yeah, and you know the thing, and the reality is this. I mean, you'll be able to find stuff to eat. It's the water you got to worry about because the water supply is going to get fucked up.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that's going to mess everything up. You know, I used to make fun of people that used to have the 50-gallon barrels and shit in their fucking garage, but the reality is they're smart.
Now you're kind of double guessing that whole making fun of them, right? You're like,
well, no, but okay, think about somebody like myself who lives in a smaller apartment, whatever else. How am I going to be able to store shit like that? That's going to last me a couple weeks.
Well, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard, you know?
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So people aren't really keened into that. And plus, I think we're in such a convenient society that people aren't even giving it a thought. I think they probably call Uber.
Oh,
and get some fucking water or
Uber
something
Eats.
when they needed something. You know what I mean? I mean,
how come my app's not working, bruh?
yeah, exactly.
Because your phone isn't working because the cell phone towers are down.
But reality is the cell phone towers are just a conduit. I heard this story the other day. Right? It's the satellites that drive the cell phones, not the cell phone tower. Because you can live right next to a cell phone tower and not even get good reception.
Yeah,
it depends on the satellite
No, yeah,
placement.
you're right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So.
No, I know, but I'm just like, come on. You know what I mean?
No, but I mean, the reality is that people need to get prepared, T.
They really do.
You know, and especially, like you said, people with families, because you're not going to realize what's going to happen. Even go 2 days without water.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, and here's the thing. Okay, you got a dog,
yeah.
right? And you got a dog that drinks a ton of water because he needs to, because he needs to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just between you two, and to your point, you live in an apartment. Where are you going to store that shit?
Well, you know, what I'm going to store is last longer than water is I'll have about 50 cases of Coke. And
what about him?
Well, okay, at all points, this guy has at least 8 to 10 gallons of water at my house.
Okay.
Which is at least 20 days
Well, at least
water.
you have something then.
And if I know that there's a short supply, I'm definitely going to ration the food.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to get 40 or 50 days out of it, and I'll be able to drive somewhere to fucking steal some water or something in 40 or 50 days.
Be like Mad Max style.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You know, end of
looking
days
for
and
water,
shit.
bro. Yeah, fuck
exactly, right? What was the other one?
I was watching that the other day, T, when you said it right now, and I was thinking about that dude that had the exhaust pipes coming out of his face.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? That's when I flipped it on. They were showing that dude, and I was like,
you
what
came
the
in right
fuck
at that
is
scene,
that,
huh?
dude? Yeah, where they swung Mad Max around on the front of that fucking car or whatever it was, and he's all stretched out. Like
yeah, it was kind of weird, man.
It was a weird movie.
That was a weird movie.
But I don't think that's what's going to happen here in the next
No, it's not going to be
couple
the end of days or anything like that. But, you know, I mean, living in California, we really should be prepared. And for those of you that are listening that aren't in California and think this is some boring shit or something, you know what, guys? This is serious. Because wherever you guys live, there's always got to be something. Some people live in, like, Tornado Alley, you know, and they got to worry about tornadoes. Some over there on the East Coast in my favorite state, Florida. Mad props, mad loved Florida, by the way. But over there, they get hurricanes. You know, so everywhere you live, you got something. And you know what? We didn't do this in the beginning, but I'm going to give a shout out to Michigan. I don't know if you recognize that, R.W.King, you know, when you were looking at the stats recently on the show. But, dude, Michigan outside of California is our biggest supporter. So,
yeah, Detroit, bro.
So big props to Michigan for that support, man. Mad love to you guys, really. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But,
we appreciate everybody.
Oh, we do,
you know, really.
we do.
But yeah, Michigan's stepping up.
Yeah, they're representing, and I love that.
They're just bored as fuck out there, right?
What? I mean, what's going on there right now? I think they love college football, and there's no college football going on right now.
Yeah, that's all they got, huh? Yeah, they
No.
well, yeah, their NFL is the Detroit Lions, dog.
Okay, I'm not even going to get into that.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
I'll give you that one. The Red Wings are getting better.
Here's the thing, though, dude, right? And just going to close up the earthquake bit here and talk about it a little bit more. But the reality is, right, I mean, we need to understand what's in front of us here. And people need to wake up. You know, that there are going to be these events, and all they have to do is Google this shit and see the destruction that happened when these things were hit and the epicenters were in non-rural areas.
Yeah.
And like you said, to your point, even yourself, myself, we need to prepare for these things.
And you know, you want to know something? My son is a prepper. Yeah, I know he talked to you about it. You know, he called you.
With
yeah,
a couple things,
exactly, because you know a lot about some of the tactical stuff, and he's putting together a tack bag for like a bug out bag. Yeah. And so he asked you for some advice on some of the stuff because you used to sell that type of stuff.
Right.
You had a business with that. So he's like, Uncle, can you help me? And you gave him some good advice.
Absolutely, man. And the thing, too, is you got to remember, you think people doing those things are a little bit out of bounds, but the reality is they're sort of the smart ones.
Right.
Because when all this shit goes down, there's going to be some lawlessness. There's going to be some shit you got to take care of. And, you know, there's got to be ways like we've talked about on other shows to protect yourselves.
You know, it's funny. He's only 17, and he's been thinking like this for years. And
that's a good thing, man. You know what I mean? I mean, and let's go back to it, T, even, you know, whatever else. And we're talking about earthquake here. But, I mean, the reality is in any situation that you're thinking to prepare for any kind of, I don't even want to use the term, but I'm going to use the term doom. Because a big earthquake like that in a major city can cause some doom.
Oh, yeah.
And these situations, whether it be war, terroristic event, natural disaster, we have to prepare for them. And someone like your son in an event, and I'm going to throw a little example out and how it sort of turned good. A lot of kids maybe who were in their teens during the big Walking Dead zombie apocalypse shit.
Yeah.
Everyone was on that kick, right?
Yeah,
I'm getting ready
he's
for
one
this.
of them.
But now it's going to carry over to him, and it's going to help him as an adult.
Yeah.
Because you can say what you want to say, but he's thinking way better than 90% of the adults in Los Angeles.
True.
You know, he's thinking about preparing.
And we're not.
And we're not at all.
And we're not. You know what it is? We're just going right about our days.
And
we're
that's
doing
what
whatever the fuck we want.
You're sitting at work today. Oh, did you feel that? Oh, I got so dizzy. Oh, I got this. I got that.
But it never changes.
It doesn't change.
It doesn't change your
not gonna
attitude.
do
It
nothing.
doesn't change your behavior. It doesn't change shit.
And that's the problem, T, is that this big one is going to hit. And I'm not going to be the first one to say I'm going to be ready, because I probably won't.
You probably won't.
And neither will you. It's just the way we are. Our society's driven.
I got to start getting prepared. I know I do.
Yeah, I mean,
and that probably
you
means
have
that
a
I'm going to have to
family.
make one for you and your dog too.
Well,
I'll
at
make
least
some
get a
room.
barrel of water for him, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That way you guys can come stay with us and we're all covered.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
can build a bunker in your new place.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Hey, you could buy one of those tubes for like 20 grand and bury it underground.
Buried underground.
Yeah,
I know.
you just got to get all the shit though, all the oxygen shit.
But my new place has an HOA, so I got to get approval.
Yeah, that'll go over well.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah, exactly, man. So what do we got next, T?
All right, so we got the man's corner.
All right, little man's corner for you, man. So what do you got today? What are we gonna hit on today?
This one's kind of hard hitting. This is actually gonna be something that I know a lot of guys are gonna like, because a lot of guys ask for this type of topic stuff. So and sometimes we try not to do every show like it, but this one is gonna be on threesomes.
I love it.
Yeah, I knew you would, man. I knew you would.
Okay, just think of it this way, though, T, right? Okay, so the average guy is probably on one of his bucket lists.
Yeah, for
Right?
most guys, that is probably on their bucket list.
And I'm going to say guys who are probably over 35 or 40, probably, if they got lucky, experienced it 10, 15 years ago, happy in a relationship now for the most part, really not thinking about that.
Yeah, you're probably spot on with that.
I think maybe a little younger generation is a little more sexually liberated.
They probably had it.
Who's probably had it or is probably active in it.
Yeah.
And it might even be a regular thing. And that's what I sort of wanted to talk about today, T. I mean, what is the thought on it? Is it something that is, hey, man, is it a badge of honor? Is it something almost like a regular deal now? Or is it something that's taboo? And that's sort of what I was going to get at. So let's talk about the first one, man. Do you think a threesome's a badge of honor? Do you think if you had a threesome?
I think it depends on who we're talking about, like what generation. I think that's more generational.
Okay, let's back up 1 minute. Let's say a threesome, but it didn't say if it was with two guys and one girl or one guy and two girls.
Right. I didn't ask that.
So for you, it's okay with two guys and a girl?
No, I'm not. Okay,
let's ask that question first. Okay, so what about that, T? Would you have a threesome with another guy and a girl?
No.
Why?
Comfort level.
Now, okay.
Crossing swords.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Ghostbusters don't cross the streams.
Yeah, no. Okay, so is it an automatic given if two guys are in a threesome, they're going to have sex also?
No,
Right.
It's not. It's
right.
not.
So, I mean, I guess is that something, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I haven't really, well, I guess there's a lot of it, T. I don't know.
Well, okay.
I'm asking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me clarify, my statement. All right. So I'm not into that. I'm not into the whole idea of a threesome with another guy. And for me, it's just, I'm not comfortable with that. But I think to your point about the younger generation being a little bit more liberated and things are not as taboo as they were as when you and I were growing up, or even a few years ago, the younger generation, it's not that big of a deal because sexuality nowadays is so different. There's pansexual, there's this sexual, there's neutral, like neutral sexual and all this type of stuff. And it doesn't matter.
And that's a very good point.
Yeah.
But okay, so what do you think the general masses, if you didn't explain it and said, hey, would you have a threesome? What would be their thought? Okay, what are you thinking if we just told the general masses?
What would be their thought? Like, what would go through their head who are the other setup.
two? Yeah,
right,
on the setup.
On the setup. If I was talking to somebody kind of within our generation, and it was a guy.
No, they're thinking the two girls.
They're thinking two girls.
But say in general.
And
that's including the younger generation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if we're including the younger generation, I think it's, to them, they're not even thinking about that. I think that they're like, where their head goes is like a threesome. There's me and two other people, and it doesn't really matter.
That could be really
you know what I mean?
true,
Like, that doesn't even register to them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, for me, absolutely, it's my thought is always two women.
Right.
right? So
Right. Typically, you know what I mean? I mean, what is it? What's the old joke? You know, it's like you and your bro are hitting it on some chick, right? You just met, but in reality, you never probably would ever do that with you and your buddy. You
no,
know what I mean?
absolutely. You know, even though I probably have, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
If you
But-
remember.
No, I remember. Trust me, I'm a member.
Remember?
Yeah, I'm a member. Trust me.
But what I'm saying is like the majority of the guys aren't going to be into that idea. And myself being one of them, man, and I'm being honest. And it has nothing to do with I'm grossed out or anything like that. It's just me. It's the generation I grew up in. And it's kind of hard for me to envision doing a threesome with 2 guys and a girl. You know, I think where my head goes is myself and 2 women, you know?
Oh, absolutely. So does mine.
Right. But I think it's generational. So you and I are in the same generation, and that's why. You know, but these younger generation, like my son's generation, no. It's more, yeah, okay, whatever. Is there another guy? Yeah, no big deal. Is there another girl? Okay, whatever.
But I mean, that's sort of weird because it doesn't even seem like kids nowadays. I'm using the term kids, you know, to 24 or something, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't even seem like they're really comfortable with their bodies. They really haven't even really exposed them in school or nothing. They don't have to take showers anymore. Nobody sees their nuts.
Well,
I mean, nobody really shows anything anymore.
yes and no.
What do you mean? Well, okay,
Well,
yeah, I agree.
I mean,
you know, more
sex ed-
pictures.
Sex ed's a lot different now.
Well, not just that, but how many selfies and all these things
Yeah,
they take and all this shit. I understand, but fuck, dude, it isn't. It's different when you're doing it in your room than when you used to walk out in front of 100 dudes to take a shower.
Right, but how
You
did
know
you
what I mean?
feel about that? Like
I
at
didn't give a
first,
shit.
when you first started doing that,
Well, remember, okay,
you got to.
hats off to Mr. Shank, dog.
Oh, dude,
All
don't
right.
even get. He's probably dead by now.
Oh, Mr. Shank, dog. That was our first PE teacher. You had him about 3-4 years after me,
I
right?
did, dude. That dude was crazy.
He was our PE teacher in 7th grade. All I remember is he told us, you guys, this is going to be part of it. You're going to have to take a shower. If anybody makes fun of anybody's dick, you're going to get in trouble. You're not going to be allowed to take a shower or be in my PE class. Because when it comes down to it, guys, you're all going to be able to make a baby.
Well, now let's clarify this though, right?
But
Let's-
then you'd have like the guys who didn't even want to take their underwear off.
Right,
And
no,
they're
but let's
in the
clarify.
shower with their underwear
Wait a
on
minute.
and shit,
Well,
crying.
wait a minute. Let's clarify this though, okay?
Huh.
Mr. Shank was not an ex-one, but he was a current Marine at the time.
Correct.
He was in the military,
Yeah.
and he ran everything like a fucking boot camp.
But that was a normal back in the day.
No, that was
You know what I mean?
perfectly normal.
Yeah,
then.
you in the 7th grade, you were going to start taking showers.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice.
Now,
You're not
here's-
going to go back into your class all smelly,
Now let me ask
getting
you
jock
something.
itch all
'cause
over the place.
I don't think I've ever asked you this about Mr. Shank, okay? But I always found it very creepy. He would stand there and watch us.
Well, he said it was just to make sure everyone was taking a shower.
Bullshit. That motherfucker was a predator, dude.
All right, dude. Well,
I think
hey,
he got his jollies off of that shit, dude, because that was fucking creepy.
Well,
because,
okay, dude, you're getting me creeping out. We're
I'm
talking
just-
about
I'm-
threesomes, dude.
I'm
We're not
throw-
talking about
dude,
Mr. Shank, dog.
Dude, I'm throwing it
Look,
out there.
I'm just saying, dude, that guy was the first one to make us take a shower. I didn't have a problem after that. I didn't give a shit after that because, you know, it didn't matter. My shit's as big as his. My shit's as big as his.
You
I'm
mean-
okay.
You mean it's as small as his?
Or small as his.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially on a cold day.
Right.
Fuck, especially that water ain't getting hot, Jack.
No, they don't
You know
have
what
any
I
hot
mean?
water in there. It was all cold water.
No, there wasn't hot water. It just takes a while for it to get
Oh,
hot.
hell no, dude. We always
Yeah.
had cold because you wanted to get in and get out anyway.
Yeah, fuck that. I wanted to wait for the water to get hot, dog.
Oh no,
I'll
'cause
stand there and
Okay.
fucking hold that bitch.
I had Mr. Shank. I had PE and what, third period or something, third or fourth period. So I had to hurry to get to my next period. So I couldn't wait for that water to get hot. So
Yeah,
you had
so
to take
did I.
cold showers.
No, I didn't fucking
Yeah, I know,
care. I'm
but-
fucking late.
Yeah,
Okay.
you didn't give a fuck. I know.
No, anyway, fuck those guys.
Why don't you just walk into?
threesomes, dog.
Why don't you just walk into
Back
your
to
class naked?
threesomes, dog. Okay, let's get back on the subject, bro. Poor Mr. Shank. Okay, threesomes. So, I mean, the reality is, man, I mean, do guys generally accept it or they don't accept it? You know, if your lady came up to UT and asked you, you know, babe, I want to do a threesome, what would you say?
Who's the other female?
Oh, it's not a female, it's another guy.
Pass.
I really want to do it.
Should have done it before we got married. Then.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
well, I mean, yeah, no, I understand you're cut and dry about it, but I mean, if she wants something like that, I mean, isn't there? I mean, you always talk about the discussions and meeting halfway.
yeah.
Why wasn't there any of that there?
No, because you know what? When it comes to sexuality, when it comes to your partner, and it comes to something as intimate as that, both parties have to be very comfortable. And if one isn't comfortable, then the other one has to acknowledge that and respect that. Because I'll tell you, I had a buddy of mine that I played hockey with, and him and his girl at the time, they were living together. They were very serious. They were actually engaged, and then they had a threesome, and it was a girl on girl and guy. So it was her friend, and him.
And she left him for her.
No, dude.
Oh, fuck.
No.
I was thinking
His
that already. I
girl
was getting
got
excited.
super jealous about it afterwards. Like, she got weirded out about it, got upset about it, and left him. And he was like, "What the fuck? And she was the one that wanted it. She was the one that encouraged it. And he's like, "What the fuck? I did this for you, and now you're putting it on me because you thought I enjoyed it too much. Like, what the fuck's that?"
Yeah, well, you got to understand,
You know what I mean?
right? Women are still going to be women.
But I don't know, because
Right.
emotions get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I knew another couple. It was a lesbian couple, and they actually were together about 10 years, and their relationship just got stale, and they brought a third in. And it wasn't just sex. They actually brought the person into their home, too. So it was all three of them living together, and it completely ruined everything. And they all went their separate ways after, and a 10-year marriage. They actually got married because it was when in California we could do that. And it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
So there's that factor too. You gotta play that into it too. If you're in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same situation happen to me. You know, a girl, I wasn't serious about her or whatever, so fuck, she wanted a threesome with one of her friends. Her friend was into it. Okay, yeah, sure. You know, I got off a little bit. They're kissing, whatever else. They're not really getting into it sexually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, I'm going to hit the new one first.
Right.
Yeah, and she gets all weirded out.
Because you weren't showing her enough attention.
Whatever.
No, but
You
that's
know
what it
I mean?
was,
But
right?
it's exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be.
Yeah.
You know, but then, I mean, I gave her the whatever and, took care of her too. But again, the same thing. It sort of just caused tension.
That's what I mean.
And that's a big problem, especially if women are the ones asking for it.
Yeah.
Because I think, to be honest, I think guys at all points would suggest it, but don't have the nuts to do it because they'll slap them.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So then you got the ones that are asking them to do it, and then you said probably almost like a 50-50 clip if you're going to survive that thing or not.
And that's my
Right?
point. If I think, to be honest with you, if you're a guy and you're listening to this, man, and you haven't had a threesome yet, and you want to have a threesome, it's best that you're single. And you find, other partners that are willing to do this because it's not going to break up a relationship.
Look, let's be honest, T. The easiest way to do anything like this is just pay for it.
Right.
You got to pick who you want.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, because you're
They're
not going to
act
ruin
like
your
they've known you
relationship.
for 10 years. They're going to love you, call you daddy, call you whatever else, and you're going to be amazed at the end.
Usually you got to pay double for that kind of action.
That's right, Cotton.
Cotton.
All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But the reality is, man, I mean, if guys, and some of these guys have this shit on their bucket list.
Oh, yeah.
You got a bucket list, T? You got a sexual bucket list?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
What's still out there on that sexual bucket list?
Uh,
Because I only got one thing hanging on mine. I've done a lot of shit.
yeah.
I've been a little crazy, too.
I got a few still on there, man.
You ever fuck a midget? Okay, that's for another time, dog. Anyways. But yeah, so, I mean, like mine is, and I always wanted that. I put on that list, and I had an actual list, man.
Right.
And mine was, 2 women, 3 women, and 4 women.
Right.
To be honest, T, after 2 women, there's just not enough for you to go around.
Right. You
I
can't
mean,
handle that.
You can't.
There's nobody that can.
And that's the thing, too. I mean, if you
maybe
can.
Zoltan or Zoltar or whatever. What's that dude's name? That movie you like with Adam Sandler?
Oh, fuck. The Zohan.
Zohan. There you go.
yeah,
Maybe
dude.
Zohan can.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. He does push-ups with his dick and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, no, Zohan could. Yeah, but no, absolutely, dude. But, I mean, for me, I always think that. But the last thing on my bucket list is a threesome, but a mother and a daughter.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means that I want to fuck a mother and a daughter together. But I think, to me, this list was made many years ago,
Yeah.
right? And the more I keep thinking about it, I sort of would get a little weirded out.
I'm sure you would. When push comes to shove, I'm sure you would.
And that's really, to be honest, why I really haven't pursued that. I don't think I've gotten a situation where I even really want to pursue something like that.
Right.
But I think even if it was presented to me, I might not do it. But it's still on my list.
Yeah.
I made this list a while ago.
Yeah.
The midget, the balls, the Benoit balls, the fingers, all the things you gotta try to do.
You do Benoit balls through airport security? It's happened.
I'm sure it has.
It's happened. I've heard some stories about that.
Okay, but the reality is, right? I mean, you know, there's some freaks
You know,
out
they
there.
wand you, dude. Beep, beep, because you keep setting that damn
dude,
thing
now
off.
you go through the thing, and they're doing the put your hands on top of your head in the scanner.
Oh, well, that scanner's for bombs, for bomb materials.
Oh,
That's what that is.
But it still X-rays you, right?
No, it's not an X-ray. What you're putting your hands up for, it's reading. It's like an air reader around you, and it's sniffing out almost like a dog would anything that makes bombs. And, it's using like the chemical makeup of your clothes. That's why they tell you to take off your jacket too.
Oh, fuck all that.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about? Now I'm thinking about the airport security.
Threesomes.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that part, but I'm just saying, if it was even presented to me, I don't even think I could do it. You know, with a mother and a daughter, and I sort of got to take it off my list. Oh, we were talking about Benoit balls at the airport.
Yeah.
No, I heard a thing about a lady had a butt plug.
Oh.
She got pinched at the airport.
Nice.
Yeah, and they asked her what was going on. She said, I like it. I like the feeling. I'm going to be on a plane for a while.
I want to enjoy it.
Yeah. Fuck,
Did they let her on with it?
No.
Really?
Yeah, they made her go in a room and she had to take it because they didn't know what it was. You know what I
It
mean?
must have been an electronic one then, because they have some that are just pure silicone.
Well, I think it had some kind of metal around the outside or something. You know what I mean?
It had to have something
Something
that
beat,
set off.
something
Yeah.
did something. And,
I'm sure silicone, she would have went through and they would have never known.
I'm just saying, the dummy. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
dude, that's crazy.
Either that, or it was a vibrato, and it had
It
some
could have
kind of
been
electronics
that
that triggered
That's
it.
what I'm
you know
saying.
what I mean?
It had to
Yeah.
be electronic to trigger that.
But hey, you know,
I don't know,
we're
man.
not talking about butt plugs, dude. We're talking about threesomes.
Well, you were talking about butt plugs, so I was like, all right, I'll follow that.
I was actually talking about my Benoit ball thing, man. But anyways, dude. But yeah, I mean, the whole point with the threesome thing is how many guys out there really would do that to jeopardize their relationships.
I wouldn't be willing to jeopardize my relationship like that.
I think if you asked me, and I was like, fuck it, I might as well go for it. You know, if you, it depends, right?
It depends where you are in your life, too. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Like,
No.
if I were to ask you right now, at the point that you are in your life that we've already talked about, we've chronicled on this show, think about it. You're gonna be like, fuck it. I'm at that point in my life where I'm fuck it, right?
Yeah, no. But I'm even saying younger in my life, I would have been even more fuck it.
Oh, I know. Well, that's
You know
how
what
you
I mean?
were
Like,
younger in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's fucking
exactly.
do it. Who cares, bitch? Wants
What?
to leave me? I'll go get
All right,
another
fuck
one.
it,
Yeah.
whatever.
Hey, you want to do a threesome too? You know what I mean? Whatever.
What? You getting bitchy about that? All right, fuck you then.
Yeah.
Bye.
You know what's a good one?
Bye,
I was
Felicia.
I was talking about the threesomes.
Mm.
Two sisters.
Was that on your bucket list?
Yep, did it.
Done it?
Yeah.
Been there, done
Got
that?
lucky. Just one of those things happened. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just fall into things.
Dennis
bro.
Lloyd concert?
I'm not going to talk about that. I plead the Fifth Amendment.
What happens at Dennis Lloyd stays at Dennis Lloyd?
Dennis Lloyd was a great experience.
Actually, I got my son listening to him now, dude.
Dude, it's such good music, man. You
No,
know,
he
man.
even said, he goes, Dad, that's actually pretty good stuff. He heard our show, right? And then, he's driving right now. He's learning how to drive. And we got in the car, and, my phone automatically connects to the car, and it started playing Dennis Lloyd. And he's like, damn, Dad, that's good. What is that? And I go, that's Dennis Lloyd. He goes, hey, wasn't that on the show? And I go, yeah. And he goes, oh, I like this, man.
No, it is. It's good. You
Yeah.
know, and then after the show, man, I was driving home even that night listening to it, and there were so many other songs that came on. I was thinking, fuck, we should have put this one on. We should have talked about this one. Yeah. There's just so many of them with this guy, man. But
I don't know, man. I honestly, okay. Now, I've also known a guy who wanted a threesome, but it was more of like a cuck type thing, okay? It was more of a cuck where he wanted to, he partaked, but for the most part, he wanted to watch another guy with his wife.
I think there's a lot of guys like that, right?
And there is. And he partaked a little bit, so it still was technically a threesome, but
most
after that, listen to this. After that, it became a problem within their marriage, and the marriage split because every time they got into an argument, he threw that in her face that she did it. And the only reason why she did it was to because he wanted to.
Well, isn't that usually how it goes?
And that's fucked up, though. Do you know what I mean?
But
That's
I mean,
really fucked up.
But isn't that go back to what we always talked about? They try to say something that'll hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They're
when people get in a
trying to
relationship,
purposely
they
hurt you.
and there's no need for it, really. I mean, but the reality is, just be honest. Hey, look, man, you know what? I'm not digging it anymore. Either stop talking about this shit or don't bring it up anymore. We're done with it, and we're not going to even talk about it.
It's in the past.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I don't like the memory of it. I don't like what happened. Let's just move on. And you should get the hint.
Right.
You shouldn't be like, hey, babe, you sure you don't want to reconsider a threesome with your friend again?
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to get her pissed off. She's going to kick you in the dick.
And it's not worth it, is it? I mean, you tell me. Do you think it's worth it? It's worth risking that.
Again, it depends.
Again.
It depends.
It really does.
It depends.
I don't know what everybody's situation listening to this is.
Right. Maybe you guys want that out.
Maybe that is their out.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
that's
looking
the plan.
for it out.
Yeah, that's their plan on an out.
I remember, in relationships, T, and with girls, there were times I didn't want to do shit, and I planted fights and did those things so I didn't have to talk to them for a few days. Give me a little breather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit,
I think everybody's done that at one point or another.
So, maybe it's the way out.
Yeah, this is just a next level out.
You're trying to fucking appease this woman. She wants to have a threesome. She's saying you're not doing the thing sexually. I want you to do what she wants. Then she fucking gags you on that one. It's like, fuck this shit.
All right, let me throw this out at you real quick.
All right.
Before we wrap this shit up. Threesome. You ask your lady for a threesome. Now, what if she hits you with, you want a threesome, but you can't even please me with what I'm asking, just you and I? What kind of shit is that? Like, what's your comeback to something like that? What do you do? How do you react?
Well, the first thing I'd say is, why are you telling me that now?
No, maybe she's been telling you this shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, okay, we'll talk hypothetically.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not going to say that happens to me.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But I'm just saying, that you didn't say hypothetically.
I'm posing
a
a question, and it's a hypothetical question.
Right, but say that first, because I'm thinking, okay, this is something like, I got to dig out of something that I've done.
No.
So hypothetically,
how would I know that shit?
Hypothetically, if somebody says something like that to you and you say, look, I want a threesome, what are you talking about, Dick? You can't even fucking get me going.
Yeah. What's your comeback to that?
Fuck, what are you talking about, bitch? You seem to be digging it. Are you like the best porn actress around? Right, if your lady's not digging it or not into you, you're going to know.
You're going to know. You should know.
If she's telling you your shit's too salty, don't stick that thing in my mouth. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to do nothing. Just hurry up and finish.
Which is a show for another day if it's too salty.
You know what I mean? You got a problem. But it's like, fuck, honey. If you're, that's the reality. If she's been saying that, why are you even asking for a threesome?
That's what I'm saying.
But some guys are
some guys are so fucking dense that they're gonna say something like that, or they would ask for something like that. You know what I mean?
To sort of say that's the reason why I can't please you because I don't have another woman? Doesn't make sense.
No. What I'm saying,
I'm sort of trying to get my head around it.
No,
wouldn't
like a
she
guy
be
is
more
so dense to ask her for a threesome, even though like she's telling him you can't even like get me off, right? You're not even that good, or you're not doing the things I'm asking you to do to take care of me, and now you want to do a threesome on top of that? Like you can't even handle me, and then you want to handle me and another girl?
Well, I think that'd have to be somebody really slow, right? Because if you're saying like this chick's already been telling you for a while, right? You made that statement.
Right.
She's been telling you you're not fucking taking care of the business. And you're like, yeah, whatever.
I'm just saying.
Give me some Cheerios. Give me some, you know what I mean?
But the sad thing is,
bitch, make me some scrambled eggs.
But there's some guys that dense out there.
Right. And that's why I'm
saying
point
that.
to you keep cutting me off. I'm not done with the scrambled eggs. Everything else. Oh, and by the way, bitch, you think you could call your sister? We could have a threesome? That's got to be a Momo, dude.
Well, dude, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but okay, but it's not a big number of guys. I think for the most part, right? Imagine this now. You ask your old lady if she wants to have a threesome, and she says, no, not really, but I'll let you go be with someone for a night if I can be with someone for a night.
Oh.
What do you do there?
Yeah, because that's like what do they call it?
Because, okay, what if your lady's not into another girl?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or even the fact to want to sit there and watch you fuck another girl.
Exactly.
Because that's the reality when you're asking your lady for a threesome.
What do they call that? A one-night pass.
Yeah, like a hall pass.
Yeah, you get like a hall pass. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you do it? I think it depends on the relationship and how secure you are and how like liberal you are with the relationship.
Well, I think something like that to me is a bigger breakup than the other ones.
I agree.
You know, but I think it's like you said, if it's something that's already predetermined or prediscussed, or you know what's going on in that relationship, and it's a wide open sexual relationship, and you're doing shit like that already.
Well, you know, I would start questioning her, like, why? Who you wanting to fuck?
You know,
like, you know what I mean? Like, what
Yeah,
you must have been thinking about this for a while.
The reality is, though, T, there's some freaky women out there, and there's some guys that allow their women to be a little freakish.
No, that's true, and because they get into it too.
I met a woman last year. She's from another state, Minnesota. Right, very nice woman, everything else.
Horrible Vikings.
Come to find out, man, yeah, she's all into, you know, like, I'm not gonna say swinging, but I mean, she's into other things, you know, and her man's good with it.
Yeah.
You know, as long as he knows and as long as he's aware of what's going on, there's certain rules.
Right.
I mean, and the reality is that's a little bit more modern type of thinking.
True, they're more sexually liberal.
Well, thinking not just sexually liberal, but just think of the numbers. 50% of all marriages are ending in divorce.
I think it's down a little bit recently.
40? Okay, 45?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my point, it shouldn't even be that high. But to have that, and then you have a relationship like that where they're both good with it, it doesn't change their thought of each other, and everything's cool as long as they're following the rules. I mean,
no, they might end up having a healthy,
right? Exactly.
You know, yeah, it may be the what is it? The tide that binds them together.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know,
so things like that. You know, in situations like that. So back to the question. You know, if your lady asks you about the hall pass or not, you'd say no.
I would start to question why. I would really start to question it because that means something like...
okay, forget the question.
No, but...
Just if you only had a yes or no to give, it's a no then. Because if you're already questioning, then it's not yes.
Yeah, it's a no.
Right, it's a no.
It's a no.
Okay. And that's probably the most for most guys, right?
Right.
Unless you want out of that fucking relationship.
Well, exactly. Again, like what we talked about, you know,
or you feel like you're stuck in there because you got a sugar mama or something. And you're like, fuck yeah, I want to go with somebody else. Go for it. Because you don't care about them. Yeah. But it's hard to say, hey, you know, go ahead and go be with somebody.
To somebody you really care about.
Yeah, and you love them.
Yeah.
For me, it's hard.
Oh.
You know, for some people, like we just spoke about, it isn't.
No, it's
because there's a different level of trust.
It's exactly.
And that's what it is. They're made up different.
Yeah.
Both of them sort of met each other at the right time of the earth. And they have this different level of trust where they know it's not going to break them up.
Yeah, no matter what. Because again, the tide that binds, you know what I mean? So it's,
you know, to me, man, I think that's sort of cool. I really do, if you think of it that way, because there's things that just aren't going to break them up, and there's petty things. I mean, like we talked about this the other day, T, in our last episode or the one before. What breaks up people?
Yeah.
Finances, infidelity, all these things, right?
Yeah.
So you take infidelity out of the question because you're both allowing it under certain terms.
Under certain terms.
Hey, that saves that percentage or drops that percentage quite a bit.
That's true.
Right?
That's so true. I mean, that's a great point. You know, I think you hit it right there.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and close this up, T, and go ahead and get on the next subject, man. Let's go ahead and, you know, it was a pretty good subject talking about the threesomes, everything else.
That was a little fun, too.
I think it got a little serious, you know what I mean?
It did, but you know what?
But the reality is, man, these guys need to understand there's a lot more repercussion than just even telling your lady or making a comment, let's have a threesome.
There's a lot at stake.
Absolutely.
There really is a lot at stake.
Even with the fucking comment.
Yes.
Right?
Even if you said it just jokingly.
No, exactly. That's my point. Like you say you're at a backyard party or something, hey, and your buddy's like, hey, bro, you know, what about you and your old lady? You guys good? Yeah, hey, babe, what do you think about having a threesome? Yeah. Okay, motherfucker.
And then the whole fucking drive home.
Not even that, the fucking next 3 days.
Oh, I know.
Right? So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, guys, be careful.
Tread lightly, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean,
Tread
unless you know what's going on with your lady, just be careful, man. You know, so go ahead and close that up, T. Okay, what do we got next?
Next, we got a Did You Know?
Did you know?
I'm going to throw this one to you there, King. I want you to treat this one.
All right, man. So, well, you know, we do these little bits and we want to give you little fun facts. So the fun fact today is, did you know to cook an egg on a sidewalk? Because it's been a little hot here in Southern California, T.
Oh, it's been brutal.
You know, I think somebody made the comment to me, fucking cook an egg on the sidewalk today.
Right.
To cook an egg on a sidewalk, it has to be 158 degrees outside, bro.
You gotta fucking be kidding me.
Hey, that's a did you know, bro.
Did you know? Are you serious? 158 degrees?
Yep.
No shit.
Yep. Because they're not talking about radiant heat, right? So you cook it on the sidewalk, it has to cook from the sun.
Right.
So if you're going to say it's from radiant heat, then the temperature is completely different.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
You know what I mean? So basically to say to cook an egg on the sidewalk, the sun has to be putting out 158 degrees.
Holy shit.
Or it just won't cook.
That's a hot day.
Sort of gets like rubber. You know what I mean?
But don't they hit that over there where Olaf is?
Fuck, probably. I think he just burns out his brain cells.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have many brain cells. You and I've had conversations
the size
with
of his
him.
melon, dude.
Oh, I know, right?
Dude, it's like it orbits a universe.
It's a Neanderthal.
It's a Sputnik, dude. He's got, look at
Head
this.
down. Seriously, that kid's got a big head.
Fuck.
You remember that?
Why do you think I just said that? Why are you asking me if I remember that?
I'm not asking you. I'm asking the listeners right
oh,
now.
Fuck. No, they don't remember it.
Come on. If you get that fucking reference, you the man right there.
They don't know it, dog. They don't know it, man.
All right, King. All right. Let's go into some sports.
All right, man. So we're going to talk about some NFL today.
I'm going to let you roll.
NBA.
I'm going to let you roll with the NFL, man.
Because
listen, we haven't done NFL in a while.
Well, okay. There's still not much.
There really isn't,
I mean?
but there's enough for you to be able to talk about it.
No, there really isn't. We're just going to touch a little bit on a couple things that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk a little bit of fantasy coming up. But really, the first thing we're going to talk about is, hey, what's Uncle Rico flagging me down for?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Hey, thanks, Uncle Rico. All right, man. So, yeah, I was just talking about the NFL. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, dude. He must have heard that on one of the other shows. Dude knows I got a boner with it. But, hey, I mean, really, the biggest thing going on in the NFL right now, man, is Ezekiel Elliott just had a meeting with the commissioner.
Oh,
this guy's on thin ice right now anyway. And he had another altercation. But I already heard about this altercation, and the reality was he got arrested. He got detained.
He got detained. He didn't get arrested.
But he never did anything. And the security guard sort of did it to protect him a little bit. Well, so it wasn't an issue where he was doing something out of bounds because he's not even going to get suspended one game.
Well, no, that's not necessarily. I disagree with it. I think, okay, the fact that he put himself in that situation, the fact that he was drunk off of his ass, all right, and he could barely stand, and because it's all on tape, right? We got it on camera, and he bumped and pushed down a security guard with that bump, okay. All that, and he was stopping a woman from going anywhere. He was physically like blocking her from being able to continue to walk. All that, and he was already on probation because of the last incident. He should have gotten at least 1 to 2 games.
Ah, no, man.
No. Dude, you're on probation.
Whatever.
Why have probation? Why have it?
It's for different things. There's an escalation of it. Again, you're going to get drunk and you're stopping a woman from walking and you fell and bumped into a dude. Yeah, you're not going to get suspended.
He didn't fall and bump into a dude.
You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Anyway, the bottom line is he's not getting suspended. You can take him in first pick in your NFL draft, your football fantasy draft.
Already got that.
So, I mean, the reality is it takes a lot for these guys. And you look at a guy like Tyreek Hill. He's still pending. They haven't figured out what to do yet.
Yeah, they're going to meet with him next week or this coming week, right?
They just met with him last week.
Oh, they did meet with him?
They did meet with him already, and they got to make a decision now based on all the information.
Yeah.
And I believe that guy's going to get whacked. I think he's going to get maybe 6 games or something.
He might, yeah.
It's just a little different situation. No.
Because they haven't released him yet.
No. Because
he was honest about the situation, maybe?
Yes, and that's what they're saying, the difference between him and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
He was completely honest and transparent about everything. He never lied, even the other situation he had pre-Chiefs, because he had the same situation with the same lady, and he had to plead guilty or he was going to do jail time. So he pled guilty to get probation before he was even drafted, and he's still with the same lady today.
Well, yeah, that's who he had the altercation again with.
Right, and it's constant.
And his kid.
And this is what we talk about, T. There's something going on in that home that they got to fix, and this guy's got to be fucking smart enough to get the fuck out.
Well, that's just it, man.
You know?
I mean, there's just some couples that just don't work. They don't work together.
Whatever
you know what I mean?
it is,
the situation just doesn't work. You just got to be able to get out of that situation.
You know, my thing is this. You know, I mean, if you're going to get in a physical relationship like that, there's no need for it. Just get out.
Just get out.
You know, so at some point, especially with you, when your job is looking at you and your job as an NFL player is telling you any domestic violence, you're going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars and you can't control that.
Or millions.
Get out of the situation.
Yeah.
Get out of the situation. I mean, what the fuck? Are you that stupid?
Yes.
And that's what it seems like is happening.
Yes.
So the reality is, you know, the thing with Tyreek Hill, we're still waiting to see. You know, and we're going to touch a little bit now on some fantasy football, T. Okay. So we got fantasy football coming up, and what we're going to talk about is just a little bit of We have our special show coming up next, not next episode, but the episode after that. It's going to drop. It's going to be probably about 30 minutes long. We're going to talk everything about fantasy football prep.
Oh, we got an earthquake going on right now.
Pretty big one, dude. It's still shaking.
We're still shaking, guys.
Oh, this is big, man. I thought you were moving the table.
No, I thought you were too. We're rolling, man.
We're still going.
Oh, that was a nice jolt right there, dude.
Well, the first one was, dude.
No, right there, there was like one. Fuck, we're still rolling, dude.
It's still going.
We're still going.
Oh, something hit big, dude.
Something did, man.
Yeah, something hit big right now, folks.
All right, we're gonna get Uncle Rico on this to try to find out what that magnitude was.
Yeah, and actually, we're just gonna stop recording for a few minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that the studio's okay. Yeah. So we'll be back, guys.
All right. All right, yeah. So we're back now, and okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and give you a timeline here.
It's a little rocking and rolling there.
Yeah, we're recording on July 5th, which is the day after the 4th, where we just had the earthquake here in California, and we just experienced a 7.1 magnitude earthquake during our show.
Now, didn't I say we had a 1 in 20 chance of having a greater one? And because we were just talking about that earlier in the show, and here it is. We hit that 1 in 20, G.
This thing lasted a while, guys.
It did.
You know, I'm really curious to see how long this thing actually went this time. This thing seemed to go forever.
It did.
You know, at least 30 seconds, T. You know,
At
that's
least.
long for an earthquake.
That's pretty long for an
that
earthquake.
means there's probably some damage out there, a little
Some
bit more than
serious
yesterday.
damage. Imagine what we just talked about, like those trailer parks that kind of got messed up from the smaller one. Now they're destroyed.
No, yeah, you're right.
They're just destroyed now.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it just depends on how close they were to where this thing was. And this thing was centered again in that Ridgecrest area.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, I just hope nobody really got hurt out there. And I hope everybody's okay.
Hopefully no lives are lost.
Yeah, no,
you know, because things
absolutely.
can be replaced. Let's just face it. I mean,
Absolutely,
you know, things can get
100%.
replaced. So you can't replace a life.
You're right.
You know,
You're right, and I agree with that. And you know, like I said, I just hope that everyone's okay. And you know, it's a little weird in here. You know, Uncle Rico seemed to shit his pants. You okay, brother?
it's his first time with us.
It's a 7.1 earthquake.
7.1 earthquake. Uncle Rico, what the fuck do you bring with you, man?
Exactly,
That's some weird
dog.
juju right
Fuck
there.
yeah.
I bet right now, are you missing Dr. X?
Well, fuck, he's out of state, dude. So he's not even feeling this shit.
Well, okay, so I'm getting blown up right now, okay? On my phone, I'm getting blown up with some of our listeners, and I'm going to tell you right now, I mentioned D-Day earlier. D-Day's still in Arizona, and he's already blowing me up.
Well, this thing actually was where it is sort of almost in the straight line to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Up at near Bakersfield. And, I mean, he's in Havasu, which really isn't that far from that, so he probably felt it pretty good.
Yeah.
He's probably closer to it than we are.
Now, I just got a report, too, saying that Mexico felt it. Parts of Mexico.
Well, that was even yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was the same thing.
But right now, too, even more so.
Well, of course, if that's 6.4, they felt it in Mexico, then feel a 7.1,
exactly.
you know? And
you know?
feel bad for that homie's house in TJ that he just built out of the cardboard.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So,
But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy, man. A lot of crazy stuff going on, a lot of rocking and rolling going on.
Yeah, so, you know, getting back to what we were talking about.
Well, wait a minute.
All right.
But we're champs. We're going to power through this, and we're just going to keep rolling. We got to roll with it.
Wait, roll with it. Anyway, what a
Come on, let me get my dad jokes in.
All right, dude. All right, okay.
All right, go for it, Keith.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and clip the part about the fantasy football then and just basically say we got a special edition coming up. Myself and T both are going to do it. It's going to hit in a couple weeks. We're going to give you guys plenty of time. We're going to give you some strategies to not just PPR leagues, but standard leagues. We're going to talk about standalone leagues. Myself and T are in a big money standalone league.
Yep.
I got him in it last year. I've been in it for 28 years. And
how old are you, motherfucker?
Pretty old, man.
No shit.
Yeah, actually, I started really young in that thing. But back in the day, T, there wasn't even any internet.
That's what I was just going to say. They didn't have like the computers and all this shit like
and
nowadays,
it wasn't even
right?
called fantasy football. It was called rotisserie football.
It was Roto World, right?
R.W.King.
R.W.King.
I'm the Roto World King.
Roto World King. See,
Exactly.
we never really explained that to anybody what the R.W. stood for.
That's okay.
No, but now they know.
Well, now they know. You know what I mean? But that's what it is.
Did you know?
Did you know that R.W. stands for Roto World?
Roto World.
So, yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, I've been doing this for such a long time. It sort of comes easy to me. You know, so I'm going to spew out a whole bunch of shit, and I know you're going to chime in your stuff.
What did the commish say last year?
Oh, and my partner came in late.
Yeah.
To the draft because we have a big draft in this thing.
It's in a hall.
Well, it's in a theater.
Yeah, theater.
We do it in a theater. Yeah, it's actually a pretty big deal. And my partner came late like he always does. And everyone started dogging him. He doesn't bring any magazines, doesn't bring any notes, doesn't bring any books.
No computer.
Nothing. And the commissioner looks at him and says, guys, why are you guys even dogging him? His partner, who's me, is a freaking live computer. He's got every stat in his head. He doesn't need to even bring anything.
You do. Now I'm going to steal something from Dan Patrick's Stat of the Day. Stat of the Day.
It's just one of those things, man. I've been in this for so long, and it's one of the passions I have in my life.
Yeah.
That I just live it. I love it.
No, I know. I've learned a lot from you just because of that.
And we're going to get into a lot of stuff with fantasy to help guys out who really don't understand it and give them a little bit of strategy to help them win those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of guys out there that think they have to do it a certain way. And you sort of have to have some strategy to it, T. You got to have a plan. You can't just go into these drafts and say, I'm going to pick the best guys.
Now, yeah, you're absolutely right because, it's different from those standalone leagues because the one that you got me into that we were talking about right now, it's way different than your normal PPR league. And the strategy of drafting and who you're going to draft is way different. Your mindset is way different, So I found that out last year and I found it out kind of the hard way.
No, absolutely, man. And that's the problem is a lot of people don't realize there has to be a strategy. And look, guys, even if you're playing for $20, you're still going to pocket a couple $100 if you win this thing.
Right.
Do the work, do a couple hours of work before you even draft and get this thing right. So we'll talk about all those strategies in a couple weeks, T, and give everybody a good mindful so they can have some stuff for their
especially
draft.
with me, I got the number one draft in that league, and it's a little bit of a conundrum.
There's no conundrum, dog. I already told you.
No. You and I talked about it, but I mean, I want to kind of, expose it to the listeners to see kind of what we were up against.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing you have to figure out now. You can't figure out when this thing's getting too close. So what am I going to do?
Right.
At least figure out at this point who you're going with. You have the number one pick.
But see, it was a teaser. You just fucked up my teaser.
What do you mean?
When I was saying it was a little bit of a conundrum. We were going to go into it on the...
No, we will. We are, but that's the whole point.
I'm hyping it, and you're like, there ain't no conundrum.
No, I mean, it is. You're right. You have to figure out who you're going to pick, and you can't wait till later.
Right. You and I have been talking about this for a while now.
So my point was, T, before you started bagging me, was you were on the clock as soon as the Super Bowl ended.
Yeah.
So you've been on the clock the whole time. Yeah. You got to figure it out early. The number 2, number 3, number 4 pick is hard because you don't know who's really going to be there. In some cases you do.
Yeah.
But in our league, there's keepers. So there's a lot of other things that happen there. And we'll get all into that, T.
Yeah.
So
it's going to get kind of wicked.
Yeah, I'm going to start fucking talking forever on
I know,
fucking
dude.
fantasy shit.
It's just going to be one full fucking fantasy
you don't
episode.
got to give me the fucking, look at Uncle Rico over there acting like he's in charge of the show and shit.
Well, that's what we brought him in for.
Yeah, but, dog, we run the show. You can't tell me to go to the next bit until I'm done. Got it? All right. Uncle Rico.
That's all right. He's learning, man. He's learning.
Oh, you got to slap him a little bit once in a while, dude. Like, fuck, come on, bro.
Chewing me, Smalls.
Whoa, hey. Look at this guy over here, dude.
Who's this guy with the big cojones?
What the fuck is that all about, man?
I love it. Let's bring some more of that shit. Fucking put him in his place.
Dude, where's fucking Dr. X at, dude? He just fucking sat there.
Take him down a
shit,
peg or two.
Dude.
All right, Keith, so what about some NBA, man?
Yeah,
we got a lot of shit popping on the NBA.
Well, the reality is it's free agency time.
Frenzy.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Frenzy.
Okay, here's the thing, right? So today was Kawhi 5th, or July 5th. Everyone's still waiting on Kawhi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So what we're going to do is just going to go over the big names that hit already, some things that happened, and obviously we've already said it. Everyone's still waiting on Kawhi.
Kawhi watch.
And the reality is there's really only 3. Yeah, exactly. There's really only 3 teams. Good shit, Uncle Rico. Fuck, you're on that shit today.
Yep.
But there's only really 3 teams that are in the hunt for this guy.
There is.
And according to what they were saying before he had his meetings, was the Lakers were in the lead.
Right.
After the meetings, they're sort of saying Toronto's in the lead. I even heard Jalen Rose come out on the ESPN The Jump or whatever and say 99%.
Okay.
He's going to stay with Toronto.
Right. I heard that too. But then I also heard Chris Carter, who is friends with him and his family. Like, they're close. They're boys. And Chris Carter is coming out and saying Lakers.
Right. But he's saying the reason is because the Raptors only want to give him a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah.
And he's saying, no, I don't want any 1 or 2 year deals.
He wants a long term.
Correct. And they're saying, well, we don't
5 or
really know
6,
what the
right?
fuck you're going to do or whatever else.
Yeah.
And so you know that when he went to his meetings, one of the things that his camp put out was, tell everybody what happened at our meeting at your own risk.
Leak at your own risk.
Yeah, I don't want you to leak anything that's said. So none of these teams have really said anything. But
Except for fucking Magic.
What I heard in the meeting and really what was discussed and what the selling point of the Lakers was, is we're all for giving you rest, just like Toronto. We got 3 guys now we want to do that to.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to do that to keep you all fresh for the playoffs.
And still win.
And that was a big selling point to him. Now, we talked about Pelinka and how he's fucking up the cap and everything else, but here's the thing, and I read this today, T, is that if there's some kind of moratorium or some date set that if Kawhi doesn't sign by a certain date, it could free up another $11 million to sign him.
It's at the end of the month. So when they hit the end of July,
if he hasn't made a decision.
And they're saying, though, that
That's
Kawhi
crazy.
delaying this is actually helping the Lakers when it comes to cap.
Right.
So this is fucking great. This kind of plays out well.
No, it does. You're right. And the other thing that we talked about is like, how the fuck are they, if they only got $31 million, how are they going to pay Kawhi and pay for anybody else? But I didn't realize how the cap works. Anybody on a veteran minimum doesn't count against the cap.
Yes, exactly.
So it's those mid-level exception guys that they want.
Right.
And they'll pay them a couple $1 million or 2.8, whatever the minimum is, and it doesn't count against the cap.
Now let me throw you a little curveball here. We got a guy that may be in play, but now the team that was supposedly going to be releasing him or buying him out of the contract, now they're trying to shop him around instead.
Who's that?
Iguodala.
Oh, well, no. It's not they were supposed to cut him. They just thought, in reality that was what was going to happen.
Well, yeah, that's
they
what
would
I mean.
buy out his contract
Everybody thought
in
they'd just buy
Memphis
it
because
out.
Memphis is sort of rebuilding and didn't want him. But here's the problem. That dickhead came out and said, I just want to fucking get released to go sign with the Lakers.
Right.
Okay, now there's value to him.
Exactly.
Now we're going to shop him. He's ours. They're not going to get any takers on him.
They're not. They're not going to get dick.
And it's going to end up having to do the same thing. They're either going to have to sign him for the money that he wants or they're going to have to release him.
Yeah.
And I just feel at the end they're going to release
They're
him.
going to release him no matter what.
So let's get back into the free agency thing, T. So the other big name that really went anywhere was KD. KD, Clay, and Kyrie were the big names.
The 3 big.
Right? So KD got dissed by New York. New York had the first shot at him.
Mm-hmm.
They fucked it up again, and they lowballed him because they said they don't know how he's going to be when he gets back.
Wait a minute. If you're New York, are you that stupid?
Yes. Yes.
No, I think it was a rhetorical question.
But the reality is, yes, they are.
Yes, exactly. Because
we've talked about that, T. This guy's just so fucked up, this owner.
If Golden State was willing to go ahead and give him the max contract that they can give him, and they've seen all his medical, they know what the hell's going on with him, and they're willing to go all in, don't you think fucking New York should say, yeah, we're willing to too? Right?
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. They have nothing, nobody at all on their fucking shit, dude. Nobody on their team that could even bring people in. I don't care if Kevin Durant had one leg. I'm offering him the most I could.
Who is their big signing now?
Fuck, I don't even know, dude.
Fuck, I forget who it is.
Yeah, Portis or one of these guys. They signed like a couple mid-level guys.
Yeah, they're just mid-level dudes, and those were their big signings.
So Kyrie teamed up with KD in Brooklyn.
Right.
So I think that's going to be a match. Also, now here's the thing. So they went to Brooklyn, both expecting to get the max, and they said, you know what, we need another player. KD's boy, DeAndre Jordan, said, I want to come play with you, but free up some money, dog. So both of them took a pay cut to sign Jordan for 4 years for 40.
Yeah, they took a haircut for that.
Yeah, exactly. So they want to win over there. So they're not going to do it this year with Kyrie and Jordan. It'll be next year when KD comes back.
Now, okay, let me throw something at you then. What do you think the dynamic of that team is going to look like? Because we know Kyrie trying to run a team, trying to be the leader of the team, doesn't work. Or at least it didn't in Boston.
It depends on how they're running their system, T. Remember we talked about
I'm talking clubhouse, a leadership.
It's irrelevant because the reality is everyone's going to defer to him anyway. In Boston, they didn't defer to him because they did all that shit without him last year. So now you come in and you're trying to be the man and you're not even producing. You weren't even there last year. There's animosity. It's a whole different situation.
But they made the playoffs this year without them.
Doesn't matter. Their best player's not there anymore, so their team's different.
I'm just saying.
You
know
have
what
a
I mean?
guy at the status of Kyrie. They're going to all defer to him. Even DeAndre Jordan. He's the guy running the team. He's getting paid to run the team. He's going to run the team. The dynamic that's going to be different is when KD comes back, because he's going to have to defer to KD because he knows KD at all points is a better scorer than him. So that's going to be when you're going to have to figure it out. This year coming up, Kyrie's going to be Kyrie, and he's going to be at MVP level.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right?
When Durant comes back, what is that going to look like?
But again, I think that's something we just got to wait and see.
Of course.
You don't know.
But you got to pose the question now.
Well, he worked.
You can think
he
about it.
worked with LeBron, and they won a championship.
But he didn't work with LeBron.
No, he didn't work in the off court and the off season with LeBron. He worked on the court with him fine.
But
That's what nobody looks at.
But that's what he did. Okay, but that's the problem.
But there was a problem there too, T, because LeBron split, and Cleveland was Kyrie's team. All of a sudden, they get LeBron back and basically tell him, "You take a back seat, kid." And I'd be fucking pissed too. I mean, especially when you're not the one bailing out like LeBron did. You're sticking around to try to make it better. After he's done over there doing his shit,
You're not
he wants to
sticking
come
around
back.
because you were drafted. You were under a contract.
He could have demanded a trade. He could have done a lot of things.
could've-
These guys
yeah,
got a
you
lot
could-
of power.
Exactly. You
You
could
know
have done that, but he
but he
didn't. But then
didn't.
he
He
did
stuck
afterwards,
around.
though. He did do it eventually.
Because he got fucked, T. LeBron comes back, and they don't even consider him as fucking a guy running the team. He was there during the shit. Right?
Wait. But the bottom line is, you're not Braun.
You're right, but the problem is you can't really handle the situation like that. I think, in my opinion, it wasn't handled right. And I don't think LeBron handled it right. Look, even if you're going to be the man, you do it right.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
I think KD's a little different than Braun, okay? Because he went into Golden State and took a backseat to those guys. So it's not an issue.
he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
T, that was never KD's team.
Those
That's always
guys-
Steph's
hold on,
team.
hold on.
Steph's team. That's my point.
With the fans, it's Steph's team, but everything went through KD.
No, it didn't, T.
Yes, it did.
No, T, no.
KD's
T,
the MVP.
KD, right, you're right, because it's not that it didn't go through him. He's just a better scorer.
Hold on. When you got a guy like Steph saying, fucking KD's the best guy on our team. Let me ask you something.
It's not the point. It's Steph is the leader of that team.
These guys,
It's not
in
that
Golden
he was the
State
best player.
Sucked his
tough.
dick for fucking ever, and then he leaves and starts fucking saying like he never fucking felt like he was a part of the team. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Okay, whatever, T. It's still Steph's team. It never was KD's team. It's never Clay's team.
He
It's
knew what
Steph's
he
team.
was doing.
Correct. And what we're talking about is whose team it was. That's all I'm saying. You know, so whatever decision he makes, all these guys make quirky decisions. Fuck, you're making it sound like it's the first one.
No, I'm not.
I mean, think about it. He went
No.
to a fucking shitty organization with shitty ownership that doesn't have any fucking record of winning, and you left one of the best organizations in the NBA of all time.
Right.
That's fucking stupidity.
That's stupidity.
But the other thing is, it was never his team, and that was my point. So regardless of it, yeah, he was taking a back seat in there. Even though he did get a finals MVP.
Twice.
He never got a season MVP.
No, not a season MVP.
Right,
But he
because
got
it's not his
two
team.
fucking finals MVP.
Okay, T, but that's my point. It's not his team, and it never was. And the reality was, even when LeBron went to Miami, it wasn't his team.
No, it
Even though
wasn't.
Dwayne Wade said he deferred, that's still Dwayne Wade's
That
team.
was still Dwayne Wade's team.
It's the same thing. So that's sort of how Kyrie felt. Because he got dissed by the dude. The dude left him hanging. Right? I would think that. Bro, why are you going to leave, man? We could build this thing together. We could make a run. Now I'm going to go take the easy route, dude, and win a couple.
But isn't that what KD did to Westbrook?
I'm just talking about Kyrie only. So my point with Kyrie, when LeBron came back, it's not the same situation as when KD went into Golden State, T. It's not, because KD chose to go there. Kyrie didn't choose for LeBron to come back, didn't want him to come back. He fucking left him.
But the fact is, he wouldn't have won a championship without it.
Absolutely. And it's
But
proven.
See, but the funny thing is,
But the thing is, it's still an emotion, T.
Of
and
course
they're
it
still
is.
people.
No, you're
And you
right.
can't-
I'm not-
it's hard for guys, especially alpha males, to really take that back seat.
I'm not saying that no, you're right. You're right with that.
And that's
okay?
all my whole
I'm not
point.
arguing that. What I'm saying though is Kyrie's already fucking recognized that he was wrong. Kyrie's recognized because he made right with Braun. they've already like mended that relationship, and he even publicly said, it's harder running a team than I thought.
So then
It's
your
harder
comment
being the
was,
leader.
how is he going to be in the locker room?
Right.
Well, I think that shows a lot of maturity.
It does,
right?
But it didn't help.
He's-
It didn't help his situation in Boston, because that happened about mid-year in Boston, and it never improved.
Yeah, but that, again, it's a different situation.
What
T.
you say and what you do are two different things.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything to sort of fix his situation in Boston. The bigger situation in
point.
Boston was he didn't fit that system. The coach, the organization should never have brought him in. He didn't fit that system, T. We've talked about that 100 times.
Yeah.
That was the bigger issue. He's an isolation player, not a ball movement player.
Right.
And he can't run it that way. And when they were having him run the point, trying to force him to be something he wasn't, it wasn't working. Once they took him off, he was having games like he's supposed to.
Yeah.
They fucked up. The organization fucked up, not him. You can't change his spots. Leopard can't change his spots.
No, that's
He
true.
is who he is.
Yeah, you can't change the
But
stars.
you can't get a guy just because his level of talent is so high and say we can make it work.
But see, that's what they tried to do.
And that's the problem. That's why it didn't work in Boston. Not that he couldn't get along with anybody.
No. It's leadership too, because other shit came out about his leadership. And
Whatever
how he can't get along with guys.
He really couldn't establish himself there because he didn't play last year. So to me, I think it was sort of a wash. He needs to get out of there. It's not going to be the same in Brooklyn. He's not going to go in there to a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals the year before and has a roster full of guys that went there and played there. And now you got to try to fucking listen to this guy. There's animosity.
Okay, so
He took time away from everyone.
okay, real quick.
Right?
All right, yes or no? Brooklyn championship team?
Oh, fuck no. Fuck no, never. But they will go far in the East because the East sucks my balls.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think Milwaukee did good. They re-signed Middleton. They re-signed a couple guys.
Milwaukee did really well.
Well, they got both Lopez's on their team now.
They
Robin
do.
and the other Lopez, the two gargantuas. They
Yeah.
got both those fuckers
Brooke
now.
Lopez resigned.
Well, it wasn't just Brooke. It's Brooke and Robin. They
Yeah.
have both the Lopez's now. They signed the other one.
Yeah.
So they got both those 7-footers playing. It's the first time in 11 years in the NBA these guys have been together. So, I mean, the reality is there really wasn't any other big free agents out there. DeAndre Jordan, Harrison Barnes went to Sacramento. There was a couple trades, though. And one of them I want to talk about is the D'Angelo Russell. Right? He got traded.
He got traded.
He got traded to Golden State. And Golden State was sort of in a mode where they sort of overpaid for him.
Well, it was a sign and trade, but yeah.
Yeah, they knew the deal.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's just a bad move for them. But I think the better move for them is they got a player from Sacramento, Willie Cauley-Stein.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Cauley-Stein out of Kentucky, this guy was a monster. He just couldn't get it going in Sacramento. And they just really weren't playing the way that kind of ball he wanted. He's an up-and-down player. And they really didn't do that for him, and now he's on Golden State too. I think next year they're going to be a little bit better than we thought they were, not having Clay, but they did re-sign Clay and offered him a max right away, the first day.
Now, yes, of course. They had to shore him up. So we knew that, right?
Yeah, because
We
they
talked
knew
about
KD
that.
was leaving.
Right. Now, here's the thing, though. Okay, without Clay, the dynamic changes a little bit on that team because it has a lot less defense. Because D'Angelo Russell, although he could fill that slot of Clay, not as well as Clay, but he complements pretty well. But I will say, he doesn't play a lick of D.
Well, you can't lose an all-NBA defensive player
can't.
like Clay and not be
Right.
affected.
Correct.
You know, and he could shut down anyone.
Correct. He's
can-
a lockdown fucking
right,
defender.
You can put him on your guy as long as he's not 8 feet tall.
Exactly.
And if you shut him down.
And he's going to lock him down.
Yeah, exactly. So
But-
you lose a guy like that, of course, you're going to hurt a little bit.
But you're going to a guy that doesn't play a lick of D.
But remember, too, their system really isn't about defense. That's a bonus. And they just really want to outscore you. And
Well, yeah, they're
outrun
going to
you.
do run and gun. I
Right,
mean, that's
they wanna-
really what they want to do
That's
now.
the whole system, the premise.
But the other
But
thing is,
the defense is a bonus.
right, but the other thing is they're trying to use this guy, supposedly from what I hear, is they want to use him as like a little nugget, like bait, to be able to maybe down the line when Clay's back and Clay's getting in a rhythm and he's healthy again, maybe they're going to trade D'Angelo Russell and get some assets.
I don't think he'll be there long term. I think he's a fill-in for a year, maybe two
stopgap?
tops. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
because
I think.
You can't just
Was it a
go.
4-year deal?
You can't go as a team that just went 5 or 6 times to the NBA Finals and not try to do something in the off season when 2 All NBA guys are not fucking playing.
Well, it was a 4 or 5-year deal with him,
With who?
with D'Angelo. Like he signed for 4 or 5.
I'm not even sure,
think it
but
was 4,
there's
right?
so many ways they can get out of contracts and trade guys. I'm sure he doesn't have a no trade clause because
No,
he just
he
traded
doesn't.
his ass
Yeah,
now.
he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to get rid of him, T.
Yeah.
I just, once Clay gets back, they're going to probably draft someone else or they're going to bring someone up through their system who's going to be a lot better, and they're just going to cut him loose.
Yeah.
I don't think D'Angelo Russell is, and to me, I mean, he's a good player, but again, he's an isolation player. I'm
he's
really
isoball.
curious to see how it's going to work.
I hear that he's probably not even going to last the full season.
There?
Yeah.
I think they have to
because
this year,
Clay's going to be back and healthy. They're saying now that he's probably going to be back mid-year.
But think about this. Even if they get Clay back, he's not going to be 100% till even say the playoffs. They still need another scorer. You lost KD. You got to get scoring from somewhere.
Now all right. Speaking of Golden State, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. There's a guy that's gotten a little fucked. Not to nothing that he did wrong, but he's a little fucked because he's kind of in limbo right now. Is Boogie Cousins.
No, you're right.
And he's fucked because he was looking to get that payday. That's why he signed with Golden State to like rehab and get back and then get that payday. And then he got hurt again in the playoffs. And when he gets hurt in the playoffs, now other teams, he's unsigned still, and other teams aren't willing to pay him that big payday.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that he got hurt or anything like that. It's people have a limit for him right now.
Right.
And he wants a lot more than that. He doesn't even really want the money he was making back in his day 4 years ago or something.
Sacramento.
He wants $8 to $10 million.
Yeah.
And people are offering $2 to $4 million.
Yeah.
So he's worlds away from that.
Half of what he's looking for.
And at some point, I think really the reality is when he figures out that he's not going to get that money, he's going to sign for a veteran minimum with the Lakers or something.
Would you want him on the Lakers?
Yeah, you do, because you need bodies.
Well, you need bodies. You do.
No, you do.
No doubt.
And you want guys that at least can give you some minutes. So, yes,
True.
absolutely.
True.
A guy like that for sure.
I'm thinking locker room, but actually he wasn't a distraction in Golden State.
He was never a distraction at the Pelicans either. So it's really, I mean, you look at it.
A little bit. He was a little bit.
Well, again,
I mean, let's be fair.
Let's be fair and let's realize that everyone, whatever, has issues. That followed him. But I think they're over magnified too. And to be fair, no, he didn't have any issues in New Orleans. He got hurt, dog. That's why they let him go. I mean, it had nothing to do with it.
No, I wasn't talking about with the team. I wasn't talking about with the team.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
He still ran into some issues, though.
Well, physically.
No. I'm not even talking physically. I'm talking with his attitude, the way he was addressing the media, the way that they ask him a simple question, he starts going off, being a dick and stuff like that, which is the problems he had in Sacramento too.
No, the problems he had in Sacramento were with his team.
But
he didn't get along with his team.
He didn't.
He acted stupid on the court. And
he acted
didn't do
stupid
any
in
of
the
that
media
in New
too.
Orleans.
Like when people were
but that
asking
doesn't
him
matter,
questions.
T.
No, it does.
The big matter is what he's doing on the court. And when he was in Sacramento, he was leading the league in technical fouls.
Yeah.
He was getting thrown out of games.
Yeah.
He was just a mess.
Trying to pick fights.
When he went to New Orleans, none of that happened. So that's what I'm focusing on. It doesn't matter to me about the fucking media. Fuck the media. I hate him anyway. So, I mean, the reality is he was doing good. And he still has some value. He's a 7-footer who can actually score and move. But he's not what he was. He's only a percentage of what he was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So he can't get that money. And I don't know what his agent's doing to him or what they're thinking. But at some point, he's got to realize, hey, look, I'm not going to get it. So I just got to figure out what I'm going to do at this point.
Right.
But you're right. I think at some point, he's got to fucking realize what he's got to do. And no one's going to offer him big money.
They're not.
He's not going to be a starter.
He's not.
And I think
that's just
he
reality
thinks in
now.
his head he could still be a starter.
Well, of course. You kind of said it before. It's pride. It's that alpha male shit. I mean, of course he thinks that.
Another free agent I want to talk about, T, and the one I really didn't get, and I didn't understand why this fucker opted out of Dallas, was Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes came out of Golden State a couple years ago, and he was the odd man out when KD was there, and they had to sign somebody. So they let him walk.
Yeah.
And he signed a big contract in Dallas, and he opted out of $21 million, and he's been averaging about 12 points a game.
Yeah.
He sucks.
I would stay in that thing.
Well, we were stupid because he just signed for Sacramento for 4 years for 88. That's why he opted out.
Well, Sacramento's going to be improved, but I don't see them doing
Doesn't
shit.
matter, dude. He's not fucking going for a championship, and he wasn't in Dallas. He's going for money.
Yeah, of course.
So even if he played one more year in Dallas, now you're declining so much. What are you going to get when you're a free agent?
Right. It's all payday for him.
It's $88 million more.
Yeah, exactly.
So fuck yeah, he came up again.
But I think Sacramento was stupid for that.
Are they? That's $20 million, and the reality is if they put him in the right system, this guy's a scorer. Dallas wasn't using him right. Something was going on there.
What makes you think that Sacramento's going to use him right?
Because they don't have any other scorers, T. So the ball, it's a matter of volume. If he's only getting 10 shots with Dallas and he's making 12 points, that's pretty good.
Luke is their coach. What part of everything that you've seen with him that would make you think he knows how to do it right?
I don't think Luke was a bad coach at all.
I don't think he was a good coach either.
I do.
I don't.
Well,
He mismanaged. You and I talked about this. He mismanaged a lot of games.
It's not about mismanaging. It's about building the younger players and developing a system. Sure, he's going to have his moments because he's got to learn too. He's young. It was his first couple years. So he's going to make mistakes. He's got to learn from them. But the thing is what kind of system can he develop and what kind of offense can he run? Because that's the whole NBA. If you can get an offense,
I don't know. Maybe it just he didn't have parts or what it was. Again, but I wasn't impressed with what he did.
Before LeBron got hurt, they were in second place in the West or third place in the West.
Yeah, but I think that was in spite of him, not because of him.
I don't think that, T, at all, because, again, he developed the whole team the year before and only added one guy this last year.
Right.
I don't think
and
that
they weren't even
guy,
a playoff team that year.
Right, because they were all rookies and kids. What did he have?
They're still kids.
No, they're not anymore. LeBron, AD, these guys aren't kids anymore.
No. When Braun came, he was still surrounded by kids.
Right.
So you add a guy like Braun
they
and
developed
elevated
for a year. You gave him a year. Of course, it elevates everybody, man. Of course.
But that's what I'm saying. It had nothing to do with Luke.
It did.
It doesn't, dude.
Gee, you got to start watching some games and realizing and stop listening to this fucking media shit.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
Get
it
off
wasn't
of your
one guy.
tinfoil hat.
It wasn't
shit.
one guy, dude. Fuck. You got to understand the fucking deal here. I mean, okay, do you think D'Antoni's a good coach?
D'Antoni?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, he's a good coach. He's fucking just, I mean, he's got a job and he scores points. It's not his job.
How far did they go?
It's not his fault the organization can't build him a team to win. You can't win the championship with every team out there. You just don't have the guns. You can't compete.
No, I disagree with the way his offense.
Okay,
because it doesn't win championships. He's never been able to do that.
Okay, right. But you see, my point is we're not basketball people, but there's people that are paying this guy millions of dollars to coach. But you're sitting here saying you don't think he's a good coach.
Who else is out there?
It doesn't matter. There's tons of guys. There's a lot of guys that are sitting on the couch. We just took two of them, Ty Lue and Vogel. So, yeah, there's tons of guys that are fucking sitting out there, dude. Tons of college guys that want to come up. They can do it.
But they're not getting their shot because it's a bunch of retreads.
Because
it's the same thing that the NFL went through years ago.
They're still doing it because they'd rather have a guy who's at least been there. Because it's difficult, T. It's not an easy gig. You're not just fucking managing a system. You're managing 12 or 14 personalities. And that's really what these guys are doing. Trying to get that to work on the court. And no matter what they're doing, as long as they got a gig, unless they're absolutely boner it, yeah, they're doing a pretty damn good job. They're in the NBA. So, I mean, I still think a big part of the coaching is what's given in front of them. A team like Charlotte, is that coach ever going to win?
No, but you know that. It's a bad situation.
Okay, Orlando, is that team going to win?
No.
Spoelstra is one of the best coaches out there. Is he going to win in the future?
No.
Of course not. It's what's in front of him. So
no,
part of that is part of it,
those
too.
are exceptions to the rule, though.
I just named 3 guys on the top of my head. I guess I can go through 30 of them.
But they're shitty teams.
Right, but there's a good coach on the shitty team, and he's been on a shitty team for the last 5 years. Why isn't his team winning? It's what's in front of him.
Why isn't he going to a better organization? Why isn't he getting that offer?
It's not that he's not getting an offer, dude. Maybe he doesn't want to leave.
Okay.
Maybe he's there.
Let me ask you something. Should Luke Walton have been the coach to begin with?
At that point, who was the other option? D'Antoni, that they fired the year before?
Yeah, another retread. Yeah.
Really, it's what you're trying to build.
Right. I wasn't against that. I was actually in favor of bringing in a younger guy, kind of coming up to, you know what I mean? And he could relate to the players a little bit.
I still think at all points we can pick guys every year or when they make these moves that we would have rather had.
Yeah.
But the reality is we're not getting paid to make those decisions, and we're sort of like armchair quarterbacks. And we don't really know what's going on with the intricacies of these jobs and what these guys do. You know, I mean...
But that's why we're talking about this.
But if they sit in a room and they they give such an impression that these people are going to pay him millions of dollars. Don't you think at least they're bullshitting their way to at least think they know what they're talking about? Of course they do.
Well, there's part of that. There's part of them smelling their own farts too. They
so
think
I
they're
don't
the fucking
think
smartest
they're
guy in the room,
well,
and,
yeah,
and
but
there's somebody better
But if
and
there's
smarter.
some substance to it, and they're in an interview, you can sort of tell when people are just fucking sucking their own dick, and when they really know what they're talking about. To me, I think Luke Walton knows what he's talking about. He needed time. These guys, and you're right. What's going to happen in New Orleans next year? Nothing. Nothing, because these kids still haven't developed. They haven't been on the court long enough. They're all hurt. How's that his fault? He has no players. You know, now you get him LeBron, okay, but that's a death wish. LeBron's a coach killer. That's his history.
No, that's his history, yeah.
So you knew that was coming up because he came out publicly and said a lot of times he wasn't agreeing with what was going on with the coaching.
Correct.
Once you say that and you're LeBron, that just signed Luke Warren's death warrant.
Understood. But you got to understand, too, that Ty Lue it wasn't a death wish for him.
No, he was the one, the other guy was, Rosenblatt or whoever it was. He came in and launched him. Ty Lue was the guy he wanted.
Right.
Of course he's not a death wish to him.
Right.
Of course not. He's the guy he wanted.
But it had to do with basketball IQ. They say that Braun has such a high basketball IQ, and he'll respect somebody with a high basketball IQ.
They were talking about it, and they say it's more about the respect of a player who'd won a championship, because they were talking about Jason Kidd. They were talking about him, back, when they were going through this. Yeah. And that's really the whole situation there, that he's going to respect Jason Kidd because he was an MVP.
Yeah.
And he fucking made it to the finals. He's got some clout, so he could fucking check him.
Yeah, there's some cachet about him.
But that's the thing. I mean, why do you even need that at that point in your career, LeBron? You're not the best player anymore. You got to understand at some point, if you want to win again, bro, you got to ease up. And he's supposedly that's what he's doing now. Okay, I'm easing up, guys. This is going to be your team. I'm going to defer to you.
But wait a minute.
See that.
Wait a minute. You just said earlier when we were talking about Kyrie, okay, alpha male. When LeBron for the last how many years, 10, 15 years, has been the guy that has been, the NBA, and you're going to tell him now to take a back seat?
It's his choice. If he doesn't, he's not going to win.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to ask a guy who has been the best in the world.
I understand what you're saying, but the point is, again, if he wants, no, it doesn't. But again, I'm going to use an example, T, that we all know. Kobe. He didn't win his last few years because he wouldn't do that.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen to LeBron.
Right. But we've seen this time and time again.
Again, but that's my point, guy. If you've seen that and it just happened and you're going down that same path, sure, AD signed with him.
Michael Jordan did
for a different reason. They signed with him because of the agent thing, and their agents got them together, and sure. But reality is right, like we know. LeBron's got one more year, probably one more after that. 2. And then he's probably going to walk away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's because he's got the Hollywood thing going. He's got all
not
the
just that,
shit.
but I mean, he's made enough money, T. He's got miles on him. He wants to enjoy his kids, enjoy his family. He's got money. He doesn't need to make it anymore.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean? So it isn't even really the Hollywood thing. It's just the fact that, he's set up. He's fucking good, dude. He's got shoe contracts up the ass. He's good. What does he need to do this for? His body's wearing down. He just got hurt. If he gets hurt this year, I don't even think he'll play next year. My opinion.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
If he gets one of the injuries like he did this year that kept him out for 20, 30 games, he's not playing next year.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
But that's the thing. If he gets hurt, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, fuck. That's a lot of NBA shit that we just covered, man.
No, absolutely, and that's probably going to close up our show. But one thing I want to talk about MLB, man, we just had the earthquake. I just got an update that the Padres and the Dodgers didn't stop playing through the 7.1.
Good.
Right?
Fuck.
But the Las Vegas Summer League stopped playing because the NBA is in Las Vegas right now. And they stopped playing their game because their stadium was shaking too much, or their arena.
Okay, let me just say this. Fuck Manny Machado. Fuck him. He just came out and talk shit about the Dodgers, the best team in all of fucking baseball, the first team to 20 wins, the first team to 30, to 40, to 50, and now to 60 wins. Okay? He's on a dog shit organization, and just because they paid him $300 million. And he's telling them, he's coming out in the media, and he's telling the Dodgers, he's saying, you know what? I'm going to put my entire $300 million up. I'll bet my whole entire contract that the Dodgers will not win a World Series.
Will not win a World Series when?
During the length of his contract. That's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, he could say whatever he wants.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, that's fucking...
you know what I mean? Whatever. Fuck, dude.
But,
He's pissed
my
off because the Dodgers didn't re-up him.
Right, exactly. And my opinion is, fuck you, dude. You didn't perform when you were here. You didn't earn that fucking contract. And you took fucking plays off.
That's
and
not
you
what
took
he said,
shit
T. Listen to this.
What did he say?
It says Manny Machado tells Dodgers fans he'll beat his contract. Oh, he'll bet his contract the Padres will win it all before the Dodgers.
Oh, there you go. That's what it was.
Not the Dodgers are going to, but the Padres.
The Padres will win it.
Fuck all that.
Fuck
dude,
that.
If I was Ballmer, I'd fucking take his bet, dog.
I would, right? And I'd take his fucking money.
Fuck yeah, I would.
I would take his fucking money.
I got to call Ballmer.
Right?
Fuck that dude. Yeah, he's all butthurt because they didn't fucking sign him, dog.
But he did nothing to fucking earn it.
He didn't do anything to earn anything even the last couple years, really. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was a problem over there. He wanted to leave. He was fucking acting like a little bitch. And he just fucking wanted to leave.
And he's acting like a bitch again.
Well, he's not. He's fucking producing. His numbers are decent.
No, but when you come out in the public and you say some stupid shit, that's bitch move.
Whatever. I mean, they're all bitches at that point, but they can all say whatever they want. This guy's still putting it out on the thing, on the field. The problem with this is why even go there, dude?
That's what I mean. That's my point.
I mean? So, I mean, but what's the reality here? If the Dodgers don't win it, which they haven't won in the last 2 years.
At least they've gone further, though.
But that's not the point. He's going to win. He's going to say, at least this year, he's going to be talking shit.
That's this year.
Yeah, but still. I mean, I think the Dodgers' window's closing a little bit, too, with their pitching.
No, I disagree.
I don't, dude, because you look at 4 of their pitchers are probably done after this year, and one of them's Kershaw.
Well, Kershaw is the only one I'm thinking
Rich Hill.
Okay, Hill, you're right.
Kenta Maeda. Okay, that guy's already been around a while. He's in the bullpen already, dog.
He is.
Okay, you have a lot of relievers that aren't going to be back next year. One of them's Dylan Floro.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Get rid of him. He stinks, dude.
Okay, so you got 4 or 5 guys that aren't going to be there. Their pitching, their strength is their starting pitching.
Right.
So basically, after you get rid of all the junk they got, you got Julio Urias.
Yeah.
And you got Walker Buehler.
Walker Buehler.
Yeah, that's it.
That kid's fucking a stud.
And you're right.
And you got Ryu.
Studs. Well, again,
Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Ryu's having the career year right now.
Because he's finally healthy.
Right, but how long is he going to stay healthy?
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, but I'm only halfway through the year.
Right.
So I want this fucker to go a whole year and fucking play in the playoffs. He's starting the
All-Star game. Oh, did you hear who fucking made as a roster spot filler for the All-Star game?
Who?
Dodgers second baseman, man.
Who?
Fuck, what's his name?
Muncy?
Muncy. Thank you. Max Muncy.
Well, he should be, but I mean, Peterson got put into the home run derby. Bellinger, he told him no in the home run derby.
Said no.
Yeah, because he was in it last year.
Right.
And he's like, fuck that, it fucked my swing up.
Bally fucking 30 home runs already.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a monster.
First Dodger hitter.
Well, he broke Snyder's record at 28 or 29 or whatever the other day.
Yeah, but he's the first Dodger hitter to ever make 30 home runs before the All-Star game.
No, he's one of the first guys in MLB to do it.
Oh, that's true, MLB too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's
he broke
fucking
a record.
nuts, dude. He's having a great fucking year.
That's bigger than the steroid era.
Yeah, exactly. And everything was fucking getting knocked out then.
Yeah, no, exactly, man.
You remember that race? You remember that? And
no,
have you seen what one of those guys looks like now?
Who are you talking about, McGuire or Sosa?
Sosa.
No, really haven't, man.
He went the whole Michael Jackson route, dude. He's fucking white now.
Hey, it is what it is.
No, seriously.
He's got money.
No, he does.
Do something with it.
But he actually opened up and admitted that he did that. You know, like he's pale white now. You wouldn't recognize him. He's almost albino.
Yeah,
It's crazy looking, dude. It's creepy.
Yeah, these guys are fucking weird.
They are. Oh, he was
kind
of a weirdo.
They got nothing to do, dude. You know, they got nothing to do after post career.
But
man.
he had a cork bat. Remember, he came out with that cork.
Here's
bat.
another
he
thing,
got busted
dude.
for that shit.
July 1st. Do you know what day that was?
That was a Monday.
No.
That was when I got the keys to my new house.
No, Dick. We're talking about the MLB.
You didn't know. You didn't. You said fucking dude.
Do you know? We're talking about the MLB. Do you know what day July 1st was? Bobby Bonilla Day. He got his $1 million bonus again.
Really?
Do you know what that is? Or I talked about it already before.
You talked about that.
So he had a $6 million payout when he was done with the Mets.
Right.
They couldn't pay him.
Right.
He told them, okay, you can pay me $1 million for 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. So every July 1st, he gets $1 million.
Fucking
he gets
great.
it for another 4 years. That's his retirement, dog.
Yeah.
So he just got a check for $1 million from the fucking Mets again.
And he gets to keep 600,000.
Probably more than that at this point. Probably about closer to 700,000, but still, hey, that's your retirement, bro.
Yeah, fuck yeah. If you can't live off of that, there's something wrong,
right? So that's Bobby Bonilla Day.
Right on.
So a little bit. Did you know?
Did you know again?
Right, so hey, T, man, you overdid it on the fucking NBA, dude. Look at fucking you.
That was fun though, man.
No, but look at Uncle Rico over there, man.
He looks wiped out, dude.
Well, not just that, but dude, you don't have to get all crazy telling us to switch gears. If we don't switch gears, bro, that's it. This is gonna just go longer than that bit.
Let's just put it out there. The earthquake kind of freaked him out a little bit.
No, it freaked us all out, dude. This thing was all moving in here.
The whole studio was rocking, man. That was kind of crazy. I was worried about the lights coming down on us.
Well, not just that. I was just worried about the electricity cutting out and everything else, man. It kept shaking. It wouldn't stop.
It wouldn't stop.
You know,
it was nuts.
So, hey, what timing, right? We're doing our fucking show on July 5th.
About earthquakes.
Right, and at 8:19 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7.1 rocks right after we get talking about earthquakes.
I just got an alert. I think they downgraded it to a 6.9.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, still a big motherfucker.
Still a big fucking earthquake, man.
Yeah,
and it's still bigger than the original.
No, absolutely is.
So it's at 1 out of 20. There it is.
It is, dude. Yeah.
You know.
But now at this point, do you know the stats on if there's any other chance of something coming up?
No, I don't.
Because that's something too,
yeah,
right?
that'd be interesting to look into.
No, you're right. I mean, fuck, we want to figure it out. And fuck, you better go buy some water, motherfucker.
I know. I need to go buy like a couple cases.
Let's go have on some of that dehydrated food, shoot.
Oh, like the astronaut food?
Well, it's not astronaut. They got like fucking like.
Or are you talking like the MREs, like the military MREs?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fucking. Those are some of them are pretty damn good though, man.
Yeah, and they sell them at when I used to do those Crossroads of the West shows.
Yeah,
they got like a year's supply of food for like $200, $300. Well, you know, it's not the best.
What was that old?
But a lot of it's like pasta.
Right, exactly, because they can dehydrate it pretty easily.
Yeah.
No, who was the scandal? The preacher back in the day that had the scandal. Him and his wife. What was his name again?
I don't know, man.
Remember, and his wife had all that makeup around her eyes all the time. Tammy Faye Baker, Jim Baker.
What about him?
Okay, so he went to prison for embezzlement and everything, right? He's out of prison now, and he's back on, preaching and everything. But his big thing now is he's fucking selling these doomsday, end of the day, dehydrated food kits, right? He's a prepper dude now, and he's still preaching. And to the people that he's preaching to, he's selling this dehydrated food to them, and it comes in this fucking bucket. Like
they come in buckets.
Yeah, it's a bucket with a red top and everything, and it's
right.
Like,
there's packs in there.
Yeah,
you know what
so
I mean?
He's selling all that shit, dude.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
dude, I think
there's
money in it. I think there's money in it, dog.
He looks like Dr. Evil though, not like.
He's a weird fucker.
No, but he's got like the bald shaved head now, and he looks all weirded out too, man. Prison didn't do him well.
Well, I don't know if prison does anyone well, bro. I mean, I know it's just free food and steady sex, but I just don't think it does anyone else. So we're gonna go ahead and close it with that.
Talking from experience.
Hey, I'm just saying, dog. But hey, look at Uncle Rico's eyes right now, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Out, dude.
What are you looking at, bro?
Dude, you're scaring him. This is his first show.
But still, dude, you've listened to the show, man.
He has, but fuck, come on, dude.
What the fuck,
you're scaring him, man.
Yeah, whatever, man.
He's never been this close to us.
Hey, if the earthquake didn't scare him, dog, this won't. You know what I mean?
I doubt that.
What do you mean? The earthquake scared him?
No, but I think this would scare him even more, man.
Why, man?
Because he doesn't know us as well as Dr. X does.
No, I know Dr. X, but remember what we said, man. Dr. X is doing some stuff in the back there we're not really sure of.
Well, that's why you do the hand check on him all the time.
Well, yeah, man, he has to.
So anyway, let's close this shit show up, man.
You know, I want to say thanks to Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico, do you got anything you want to play, any sound bite or anything you want to throw at us? You got one? He says this is what he's all about. This is what he's saying right now.
Was it Mafia?
I guess so. I guess that's what he's saying, dude. Isn't that like The Godfather?
He's trying to scare us?
I think he was, dog. I think he's like trying to give me some shit right now because I was calling him out.
All I gotta say is you're fucking with the wrong dudes if that's what you're trying to do.
I'm just saying, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what you're trying to scare or whatever else, dude, but I'm just saying.
I'm not worried about digging no ditch. This ain't the first ditch I've ever dug.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to dig the ditch for this one. It ain't the first ditch
I ain't the first ditch I ever dug. I ain't worried about digging no ditch.
So, hey, Uncle Rico, thank you for coming in, man. Feeling in, bro.
Yeah,
yeah. You're welcome for the burger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you even finish it?
I don't know.
I don't think he did, dude. He got scared.
I can't see on the board like where his burger is, so I can't tell.
Yeah, but he's quiet in there. He's different than Dr. X.
Dr. X is like doing fucking backflips and all kinds of weird shit, dude.
So Dr. X will be back next week?
Yeah.
Okay, because
He's only gone for 1 week.
Well,
remember?
no.
It was supposed to be 2, but
yeah,
then
but that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's being honest with us, dude. So
Well,
have you talked to him?
I haven't, dude. Remember, he's not in the state.
No, I know. You got to reach out to him to sort of figure this out. Don't even ask him, hey, are you going to be here for the show next week? Say, hey, bro, what's going on? What are you doing? And then we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Because I think he's just saying that because he doesn't want Uncle Rico for more than one gig.
Yeah, but he can't leave the show high and dry like that.
So I'm
like,
saying
we
you did
gotta
a great
fucking have
job,
something
really,
bad.
Uncle Rico. You did a great job, man,
Yeah.
working the board. We appreciate your help, man. We really do.
And through all the craziness, dude. I mean, seriously, today was even weirder than normal because of the fucking earthquake. So, big shout out to you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and close up T, man. We want to thank everyone for sticking around the earthquake edition. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
during the earthquake, it was fucking good timing. We had our 6.9 or 7.1.
Whatever that number is.
So fuck, guys, again, just prepare for these things out there.
They're crazy.
It was sort of crazy that we had to deal with it in the middle of our show right after we talked about it. Hey,
That was kind of cool, though. The timing was perfect.
no, but it was because you fucking were talking about it.
Oh.
Dude,
What's the first rule of Fight Club?
don't talk about Fight Club.
What's the second rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, we fucked.
Oh, we fucked up. All right, dog. So go ahead and closing out. We want to thank everybody again for sticking around, listening to our madness. Sweet Tea was carrying on a little bit today. We want to thank Uncle Rico for filling in.
Yep.
So,
Thanks a lot.
thanks, man. Yeah, good job today,
Hey,
man.
great job there,
we
King.
touched on some stuff here today we thought was good. Got rambling a little bit. We're going to break up our next show back to one of our old segments, like we said, T, a little more structured. Bring back some what the fuck news.
Really?
Bring back some other stuff that we like in there. A
Ooh.
little more man's corner. So we're going to go ahead and stretch it out a little bit different next time. But you know what, man? It was a good show tonight.
Yep.
Thanks for everything, guys. Earthquake edition. Getting ready to side out.
No, rocking and rolling.
Remember to look at our website, www.thedoubleshow.com.
Wait. See, that's what happens when you
hate
try to
that
be
shit,
that.
dude.
Do it like you do it, man. Just be yourself. You be you.
www.doubleishow.com.
Wait, repeat that?
www.thedoubleshow.com.
There you go. And don't forget to hit us up on our Patreon at www.patreon.com/The Double I Show.
Guys, get ready for our fantasy football edition. Going to be coming at you in a couple weeks, man. Make sure you listen to that. We're probably going to put it out there for everybody. We don't want to just throw it on the Patreon because we don't want anyone to miss it. Right? What do you think about that, T? Just throw a little extra edition out. Maybe drop it in like on a Thursday or a Friday or something.
That may be interesting.
Right?
Throw a curveball out.
Yeah, exactly. Drop our show on Tuesday.
Let's see if
Drop that out on a Thursday or a Friday.
let's see if they'll hit that shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's see how many,
I think that's kind of cool. I like that
so
idea.
we'll go ahead and throw that out.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, guys. So,
Keep them on their toes.
we'll come at you. And again, guys, remember, be careful out there in Southern California. It's earthquake weather.
Oh.
Is it earthquake weather?
No, I just told you there's no such thing as earthquake weather. It's fucking
You
bullshit.
told me there was no such thing as rain causing earthquakes, T.
I said I don't believe there is. But-
No, you told me it was just like the madness. It was
Yeah.
you told me just like the other one. You were like so sure of it. And then
No,
fucking
I
Uncle
said
Rico shut you down.
I can't fathom that it would.
Oh,
But
20 fathoms under the sea?
there you go.
All right, 20,000 leagues under the sea. That's what it was.
You're a fucking idiot.
Anyways, man, thanks again to everybody for sticking around. We are thankful for everybody who sticks around, listens to us for the whole show.
Absolutely.
You know, guys, if you got suggestions, if you got things you want to talk about, let us know. You know, one of the things that we want to talk about, too, is, again, saying thanks to all these guys out there. You know, I'm still waiting for Tim over at my liquor store, man.
Oh, you haven't seen him since?
No.
Oh.
But I got a new guy, man, that's really been hitting us up about the show. I just want to say thanks to him. Palma, thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So he's really hitting the show, digging it.
Cool.
You know,
right on.
Hey, man, we just got to get everything going. Raj, you know, you too, bro. He's saying, he was asking me about those fucking socks because you mentioned those fucking socks, dude. This guy won't get off the socks.
Yeah, we're working on those
what I mean?
guys.
So we'll get everything squared away, guys, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Signing out, Incoherent Idiocy. I am R.W.King.
And I'm Sweet Tea.
We are
Out.